Good evening. Okay, listen, we're approximately 300 all women in the room, and that definitely can't be our volume. We can do better than that. Good evening, everyone. Yes, why not? Come on. You can clap whenever you feel like it. So at the very outset, I want to say that where I stand right now, from where I stand right now, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, you all make an absolutely stunning vision. I mean, look at you. You're dressed in your best, and that deserves a huge round of applause for yourselves. Come on. And in fact, as I stand here, I'm reminded of the words of Sheryl Sandberg, the CEO of Facebook, when she said that women all around the world have really shifted their thinking from, I don't think I can do this, to, I think I'm still going to do this, and I'm going to learn something new by doing it. But ladies, all of you in the room have actually taken it one step further. And you said, I'm not just going to learn, but I'm going to excel at doing what I do. All of us in the same room this evening is a testimony to the fact that you are the movers and the shakers, the dreamers and the doers, the talkers, certainly the walkers of new age business. And ladies, if you agree with what I just said, then come on, put your hands together in a huge round of applause. You can bring the roof down. Once again, thank you very, very much for joining us here this evening. I'm Xenia Fernandez, your host for this evening, and it's my absolute pleasure and honor to welcome all of you to Kalyan Jewelers Presents Outlook Business Women of Worth 2019, powered by Amway Health and Beauty partner Corcal, driven by Exide, our lifestyle partner Bosch, celebrations partner Indiosa, outdoor partner Bright. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a huge round of applause for all our amazing partners? And on that very note, to give us some insight on what this evening holds for us, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome CEO Outlook Group, Indranil Roy.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I'm scared. I'm going to go out of the room. It's lovely to see so many women in this room, and I'm assuming all of you are entrepreneurs. That's what we are here for. At Outlook Group, we are really glad to launch the Outlook Business Women of Worth platform for women entrepreneurs, and that too at the startup capital of India. India is the world's fastest growing ecosystem, and only 9% of our country's startup founders are women. Only 2 cities in India have made it to the recent ranking of the top 50 most favorable global places for women. It is Bangalore and Delhi. Unfortunately, Bangalore is at 40th rank and Delhi is on the 49th. But the good news is that in terms of the market, Bangalore featured 10th on the global standing. Currently in India, we have about 8 million women who are entrepreneurs or just yet to be entrepreneurs. There lies the opportunity. At Outlook Business, we decided to be a part of this transformation, and that is why we are here in Bangalore to begin our journey, and nothing can begin better for a startup or an entrepreneur program than to start in the city of Bangalore. Next week, we go to Calcutta. Week after, we go to Delhi. On 6th of March, we are in Bombay. We are also working on a digital and a social platform titled WoW. WoW will be an interactive idea platform where we invite you to share your stories, read of successful entrepreneurs, and also interact and network. I request you all to please explore our website, www.wow.outlookbusiness.com. Share us, like us, dislike us, but we need your feedback. I also like to take this opportunity to thank Kalyan Jewelers, who is our partner, and to extend their support in conceiving the idea of WoW. I'm also very closely working with the Kalyan team to create a platform for celebrating women. The platform will feature entrepreneurship, lifestyle, fashion, celebrity news, women-friendly travel, health, and wellness. I congratulate the Outlook business team for putting this up together. They've done a tremendous amount of work over the last few months, and I thank you all for your time. I really hope you enjoy the evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Indranil, for setting the tone for this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, at Outlook Business, WoW is our annual soiree to get inspired, and not just that, but also to applaud the amazing achievements of women in business. It's our 4th year, and this year, for the first time ever, WoW will do a magnanimous 4-city tour that we kick off today in Bengaluru, Kolkata, New Delhi, and Mumbai. All 4 evenings will witness entrepreneurs, change makers, and thought leaders coming together for panel discussions, for conversations, for heart-to-heart fireside interviews, for performances, and of course, for entertainment. So, usually we say it's time to kickstart the event, and I think we at Outlook Business took the word kickstart pretty seriously, ladies and gentlemen, because here's what we're going to do next. In fact, I want you to brace yourselves and get ready to pump yourself up, because I now have the pleasure of introducing on stage a global leading holistic health guru and corporate life coach to billionaires, to top Bollywood celebrities, to supermodels, politicians, and of course, citizens from every walk of life. He has a double honorary doctorate in holistic health and life sciences from International Medicina Alternativa, and has been a pioneer in promoting holistic health in India through radio and television shows too. Ladies and gentlemen, he's here to get us not just energized or maximized, but may I say, he is going to get us Mickey-mized. How does that sound for wordplay? Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome on stage Dr. Mickey Mehta.
Mickey-mize your life.
This is a 8-minute AV, but at minute 5, I heard, "Where are you, Mickey?" So either you were getting bored or you were getting too excited. So you saw now, I'm not bragging and being pompous about what I do in life and what I've done for 36 years. Yes, I'm just 56. So I'm not pompous about it. Yes. But of my many clients, because it's a Women's Award night, I decided to bring one of my biggest star client along with me. And ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Priyanka Chopra. Now that was the first joke of the evening. This is wellness. This is fitness, this is health, this is wellness, this is well-being. If I could make you laugh, I've connected with you. And now I'll make use of all the connections. Okay, so a woman's DNA is stronger than that of a man's. Come on, tell me how. Anybody who answers this well will have one telephonic conversation with me complimentary. So tell me, how is a woman's DNA stronger than that of a man? Because D stands for dynamic, N stands for natty, and A stands for astounding. So that's the DNA of a woman. Me being a man, a typical MCP that all men are, I'd like to say that I truly hold women in a very high esteem. And thank you. The reason being, they have a power to forgive. They are very compassionate. They are epicenters of sympathy, compassion. They are embodiments of philanthropy. And they are epitome of love, 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 and love. And they can simply create and create and create and create. You know why all men are scientists? You know why all men who, whatever big they've done in life, are out there? Because they need to prove that we are better than women. And that is all out in the world, which really doesn't matter in the real world. In the real world, what matters is happiness, contentment, love, care, sharing, upbringing, togetherness, joy. And this is bigger than any other achievements any man has ever done. So 3 cheers for womanhood. Hip hip. Hip hip. Hip hip. Now enough of maska. Now let us come back to business. So we are here to celebrate the worth of every woman. And yes, every woman is worthy of accolades. Every worthy woman, walks with a sense of pride, which actually is not pompous and arrogance, which is so humble. A woman is deeply rooted in humility and better rooted in humanity. That's what a woman is. And why she is like that? Because if you see, even physiologically and biologically, a woman is more healthier than any man. And this is proven scientifically, that the infant mortality rate of a male child is higher than that of a female child. A woman is more resilient. She is more tenacious. A woman can optimize, she can maximize, she can energize, she can naturalize, and she can Mickey-mize. So today we will talk about holistic health and wellness. Now the word holy means pure, divine, wholesome, collected, connected, composite, composed, together, everything put together. And because a woman is wholesome, it's very easy for a woman to access and attain holistic health, but somewhere because of the pull and push in life, we miss out. And since we miss out in our urban lives, because we are juggling too many roles together, every woman is a mother, she's a daughter, she's a sister, she's a friend, she's a wife, she's a boss, she's an employee, she's a colleague, she's a subordinate, and she's so many roles. So a woman has become a very complex phenomena. But in her heart, a woman is the most simplest phenomena. How do we achieve and attain to holistic health is, of course, the pillars of wellness. Ahar, Vihar, Vishram, Aushad. How many of you espouse to Ayurveda way of wellness, Indian traditional way of wellness? Yoga, Ayurveda, breathing, meditation, chanting. Wow, I mean, this is amazing. Great. So, Ahar, Vihar, Vishram, Aushad. Ahar simply means not what you eat, not what you put inside, but what that nourishes you, that which nourishes you. What else nourishes you apart from food? A good sunshine nourishes you. Fresh air nourishes you. Drinking water nourishes you. A pat on the back nourishes you. A good night's sleep nourishes you. Cooking food for others nourishes you. Feeding your children nourishes you. Being happy nourishes you. Love, romance nourishes you. And then food nourishes you. So food probably comes at number 11. But however, it is so important because 5 times a day what we put inside is literally rubbish. I mean, I'm sure most of you women out here eat very healthy and eat very smart. So, I mean, if somebody were to say that what's the best way of eating healthy, I would say A, be a vegetarian. Not that eating meat is sinful, but it is not as helpful in being healthy and for well-being. So be vegetarian. So as many raw fruits, raw vegetables, sprouts, condiments, spices, dry fruits, nuts, seeds, vegetable juices, fruit juices, coconut water, salads, as much you can consume, as much raw, trust me, you will shine. You will glow. And your day will be so light because your body will not utilize a lot of energy. It will conserve energy and it will give you energy to walk through the day much more easily. So eating very healthy is very, very good for your entire body, your musculoskeletal structure. All of you want nice nails, nice skin, yeah? Nice bones, no makeup, huh? No makeup. You can try. You can, test my skin if you want to. Nice bones, nice hair, nice smile. So if you eat healthy, the smile on your face will be very, very natural. It will beam from inside. And you will be screaming with happiness. How many of you exercise every day? That's very nice. I mean, look at this. 75-80%. Okay, then let me show you one good exercise today. And that exercise is a simple exercise to do every morning for a minute or two. For a minute or two. I'll then come to the next. Okay? So maybe have the music, please. What's happening to the music? If it's not working, I'll do it myself. Okay, nevertheless. Here it comes. Would anybody like to come on stage with me? Anybody comfortable? Any sporty woman? Come now. Climb it from here, come on. All right, what's your name? Zah. I'm Zar. Come with me. Anybody else wants to join? Sound go up. Come on. Down. We are doing a clock. We are doing a clock for your stomach cylinder. Good. On my left. Okay. Now pulse. Pulse. And to your left. Straight. Stretch. Turn. Breathe out. Come down. Suck your stomach in tight. Now move to your right. Come to your left extreme. Bring down. Suck your stomach in tight. Now move to your left. Suck your stomach in tight. And for the last time, to the right. Okay, from here. Yeah. Go. Push. Very simple to do. Breathe in, breathe out. Come on, Zah. Very good. What's your name? Gitanjali. What's your name? Uma. Okay, good. Back. Thank you. Thank you, Zah. Good luck. You know why most of us on this earth don't work out? Because when we see YouTube videos of workout, we see some scary stuff. And when we see some scary stuff, instead of getting motivated, we get demotivated. And we realize this is baap re baap, ye mere se nahi hone wala hai. So instead, we should simplify life. Now, I'll just quickly recap the workout. So stretching down, sucking your stomach inside, moving to your right, stretching up all the way, looking up into the sky, and coming down and crunching your stomach. And again to the left and down. If you were to do this around 7-8 times a day to begin with, then that can go to 15 times, and that can go to 20 times. Eventually, you will be shaped up well in your waist, in your tummy, just simply. And then, after you finish, if you just were to just march, simply circulate, energize with oxygen, and pump up the energy levels, and increase the growth hormones, increase the happy hormones, and increase the hormones which give you high. Great. Tell me one thing, that how many of you take sunshine every day? Do you literally go to the window and take sunshine? Then I'll show you a technique. All of us want to look beautiful, right? So, take sunshine directly here on your pineal gland. Now, what typically happens, that this brings cheer, joy, because this liberates energy. No sooner the strobes of the sun touch your forehead and of course the entire body, melatonin stops secreting and serotonin starts secreting. And automatically there is cheer, joy, energy, and you begin to smile. If we weren't to judge any woman how she looks, the color, the features, every woman, when she smiles, genuinely looks the most beautiful on this earth. And this is what happens when you just seek sun in the morning. First thing in the morning. Let it be for a few minutes, but do it. And all your resolves at that time. Seed your wishes at that time. And trust me, in a matter of time, they will come true. Now I'll show you a very, very good exercise. And I want, Zah, can you come up again? Yes. Yeah, come. And the same team can come up again and some more add-ons. Now I'll show you a nice exercise, a literal anti-aging exercise. So come, ma'am, come. Feel free, come on. We're going to give it the best shot. So, open up, please, open up. Quickly, great. So maybe have the music, please. All of you down on your fours. Smile. Push behind. 5, 6, 7, 8. Stretch. Come on. Stretch your spine, completely your stomach, your pelvic. Breathe out and back. And again stretch. Maybe have the music higher. Look up. Back. And look straight. Now right leg in the front. And back. And left leg in the front. And back. And right leg in the front. Back. And left leg in the front. And back. Okay, perfect. Thank you. We've seen this from the time we've grown up as kids in schools. We did PT, but we never paid attention. But this simple stretch, becoming a cobra, and going back and becoming a mountain, and stretching and becoming a cobra, and going back and becoming a mountain, stimulates your spine in a way that as you age, it will never crouch. You will never slouch. Because the muscles shorten and the bone density also loses itself and the length of the bone also. So if you were to challenge it every day in a calibrated way, you will remain the same. As young forever. Forever and forever. And then to follow up, if you have right leg in the front, what we did, back, left leg in the front and back. Now that should be, the mental application should be, on your marks, get set, go. There are so many things we want to do in life. And these things can be achieved by your championship. And your championship starts in the morning when you take the sunshine, when you work out every day. So we pledge to work out every day? Yes. Do we? Yes. Men somehow have been ruling the roost for a long time. It's about time now. it's about time. It's your time to go out there and shine brighter, and shine effortless. When you shine effortless, a true woman's feminine spirit will be at fore. Great. Come on, round of a big applause. Now, I want two equal stature women to come back to back. I just want to demonstrate one exercise, what you can do with your mother, what you can do with your sister. So anybody, two, maybe Zahar, you can come back again, Zahar. Then come. And, okay, come on. See, always remember, sometimes when the bodies don't match, the mind matches. And when the mind doesn't match, at least the spirit matches. So good. I want you both to stand like this. Okay, back me. Like this. Okay, spread out your legs. Now just leave yourself on my back. Okay, slowly. Don't resist.
I don't think you should try that.
Okay, fine.
I can try the same with you.
Really? I mean... Okay.
Were you yourself or you were just like...
Superb. Yeah. Organizers, one of my books from outside to be given to a complimentary.
Thank you.
Pleasure is mine. So now stand back to back and hold yourself in a position where once you will take her and once you will take her.
No, you will not take her.
Okay, only she. And this is supposed to be a partner workout. Come on, music.
Partner, do you want a partner? Love me, say, want a partner? Oh, partner, do you want a partner?
Super! Come on, back. You want to try? She's trying. Okay, continue the music.
Do you want a partner? Love me, say.
Okay, have a seat. Continue the music.
Do you want a partner?
See, one more exercise as a couple you can do is. Very good. Thank you. Sorry? Every one of you here is a super duper woman. Everyone. Za, salute to you.
Thank you.
You are strong, man. Are you an athlete? Are you an athlete?
I have always been...
Did you apply ever for WWF? I'm telling you, you will kick.
I will.
You will. And you will throw them all out of the ring. You know, music can really make you chirpy. And now all those who are interested in grooving a little bit, all those ladies interested in grooving a little bit, please step up on the stage. All those ladies. So we'll do a little bit of workout. Super, come on, ma'am, yo. You know what? We, throughout the day, either are standing, sitting, walking, and we become very stiff. We need to circulate. And as we move, the energy, the prana, the urja inside moves. So we need to move, we have to shake that up, stir that up, so that we are alive and active always. Very nice. All of you with 2 hands distance? 2 hands distance. Okay. May we have the music, please?
What an idiot.
Okay.
God, what is he doing, God?
Okay, first. Move. Right to left.
Such a stupid basket.
Okay, now.
ਸੋਹਣੀ ਤੇ ਨੱਕਦੇ ਸੋਹਣੇ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸੋਹਣੀ ਤੇ ਨੱਕਦੇ ਸੋਹਣੇ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਸੋਹਣੀ ਤੇ ਨੱਕਦੇ ਸੋਹਣੇ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸੋਹਣੀ ਤੇ ਨੱਕਦੇ ਸੋਹਣੇ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਮੋਹ ਪੱਤੀ ਜੈਮ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਏ ਉਹ ਜਾਣੇ ਜਾਣਾ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਮੋਹ ਪੱਤੀ ਜੈਮ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਏ ਓਏ 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 ਮੋਹ ਪੱਤੀ ਜੈਮ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਏ ਉਹ ਜਾਣੇ ਜਾਣਾ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਮੋਹ ਪੱਤੀ ਜੈਮ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਏ ਉਹ ਜਾਣੇ ਜਾਣਾ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਸੋਹਣੀ ਤੇ ਨੱਕਦੇ ਸੋਹਣੇ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸੋਹਣੀ ਤੇ ਨੱਕਦੇ ਸੋਹਣੇ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਸੋਹਣੀ ਤੇ ਨੱਕਦੇ ਸੋਹਣੇ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਸੋਹਣੀ ਤੇ ਨੱਕਦੇ ਸੋਹਣੇ ਲੱਗਦੇ
Give me a hug. Thank you. Me too, me too, me too, me too. Thank you. Me too से बहुत डर लगता है भाई. I'm sure we all admire the shapes and sizes of people around us. We have to begin to admire our own self, for which, let's do a very simple exercise. Just stand wherever you are. First, begin to love yourself. However you are, guaranteed you will change thereafter. Because if you accept the way you are, the change will happen immediately and your body will start transforming. So now just follow my command. Eyes shut. Music. Shut your eyes. Now, hip to the right. Left.
The club isn't the best place to find the lovers, so the bar is where I go.
Left.
Me and my friends at the table doing shots, tripping fast, and then we talk slow.
Left. And
Come
up.
over and start up a conversation
Down.
with just me, and trust
Up.
me, I'll give it a chance.
Down.
Now take my hand, stop it, and the man on the jukebox, and then we start to dance.
Down.
And now I'm singing like, girl, you know I want
Down.
your love. Your
Up.
love was handmade for
Down.
somebody
And
like me. Come on now, follow my lead. I may be crazy, don't mind me. Say,
And
boy,
right.
let's not talk too much.
And left.
Grab on my waist and put that body
And
on
march.
me. Come on now, follow my lead. Come on
Now
now, follow
everybody
my
bounce.
lead. I'm in love with the shape of you. We push and pull like a
And up.
magnet do. Although my heart is falling too. I'm in love with your body.
With your own body. With
Last
your own
night you were
body.
in my room.
And groove.
Now my bedsheets smell like you. Every day discovering something brand new. Well, I'm in love with your body.
right.
I'm in love with your body.
Okay, great.
I'm in love with your body.
Now, it's time to give away a championship from my side. Okay? There's something very challenging that we'll do on a beautiful piece of music. So, once again, same volunteers, different volunteers, back on the stage. If you are comfortable, I'm comfortable. I will look straight. You perform behind. Before we break into this jig, all of you take a 2 arms distance. Before we break into this jig, which is the best exercise for biceps? Biceps, biceps. One answer, any one answer? 5,000 rupees, one answer. Last chance? Weights, no. Okay. The best exercise for bicep is uplift the poor. Okay, the best exercise for shoulders. Take responsibility of the underprivileged. Take responsibility of the underprivileged. Okay? So now we get into the music. Guys, down. Right leg in the front. Look up straight. Move, 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 move. Continue, move, 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 move. You can step down. Oh, lovely. Come on, clap for them. Clap for them. Yo, come on.
New address for every situation.
Yeah, come on. Step out, step out.
Moving
Super,
through the
super.
doorway of a nation.
Beautiful. Step out, step out.
Pick me up and shake
Super.
it out.
Come,
Baby,
come.
I can't do without. Don't mess
72,
around.
wow, wait here.
You bring me down.
Okay. Okay, stop.
Don't make sense, move out.
You know, when the body fails, the mind takes over. When the mind fails, the spirit takes over. And never let your spirit fail. She's 72. Ladies and gentlemen, Zara, come here. All the women who continued, big round of applause, big round of applause. Great guys. I'm telling you, I'm so inspired today. I'm so inspired. Okay, back down there. Pleasure, pleasure, pleasure. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Please don't tell your husband that, okay? We all laughed a lot. But there is one technique, if we incorporate while laughing, physiologically, we will have displaced a lot of toxins. So, literally, the way to breathe is when you breathe, you expand your belly, and when you breathe out, you pull the belly in, and when you're breathing out strong, your belly gets sucked in, and it meets at an imaginary point where you can suck in your butts also, and both the energy points meet together. So that's in martial arts and Kathakali, etc. So, a way to breathe and laugh together so that volumes of carbon dioxide goes out and you become lighter. And no sooner you become lighter, your immunomodulators secrete better. Okay? And your diaphragm opens up. So come on, take a deep breath. And let's do hoo-hoo. Take a deep breath. Ha ha. Deep breath. Hoo-hoo. Take a deep breath. Ha ha. Now let's do it in sequence. Hoo-hoo, ha 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 ha. Now look at each other and do it. Literally laugh. Hoo-hoo, ha 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 ha. Hoo-hoo, ha 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 ha. Hoo-hoo, ha ha. Ha 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 ha. Amazing, amazing, guys. You guys are too good, too good. You know, did any one of you see my bookstall outside, The Shunyam Quotient? The Shunyam Quotient is a book about neutralizing your mind, neutralizing your activity, neutralizing in a way so that you're fresh to start again. And when you neutralize it all in either a pensive state, meditative state, relaxed state, in the state of being, become calm, composed, either through music or silence, typically a surge of new energy begins to flow within. Healing happens, integration happens. You begin to get new ideas, creativity, productivity. You get more confidence, you get solutions, you get clarity. So I'll just play you a 30-second video of my book. And that book is all about self-transformation, but don't consider it as a self-help. It is a guide, it assists you. It took me 10 years to write it, changed my life. I'm sure if you buy it and gift it to somebody, it will change yours. The book only costs $150. It's not a big deal of money. A writer hardly gets 10, 15, 20%. That's not the money I want to make out of you. But I really want this book to go out in the world and help people make that change. So there's no book video. Sorry, only one video allowed, which was the beginning, and oh, Mickey, yay, Mickey, hi, Mickey, it got over. But anyway, the book is available outside, and I guarantee you, whosoever you gift it to will jump with joy once finishes reading it. That's my promise to you. So now we will all get into a trance. Okay, I'll play you a lovely piece from Rahman. It's my favorite piece. It literally will stimulate all the suras in you, all the ragas in you, bring the healing quotient up, and bring the feeling of happiness and calm and tranquility to fore. Maybe have the music and maybe shut all lights, please. All of you simply shut your eyes and sit straight. Shut your eyes. Just follow me. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And very slowly, don't pull the breath, don't push the breath. Let the breath happen. go. Breathe in energy, breathe out fatigue. Breathe in strength, breathe out weaknesses. Breathe in hope, breathe out despair. Breathe in love, breathe out hate, resentments, grudges. Forgive yourself, forgive the world. Unshackle yourself. Open up your arms, open up your legs, don't be stiff. Heal yourself so that you can heal your husband, your children, your in-laws, your parents, the world around you. Calm down, eyes shut. Okay, all of you, wake up. Good morning in the good evening, because each time you delve deep into yourself, this is about my book, The Shunyam Quotient, as well. Each time you delve deep into yourself, you come out fresh like a daisy, you come out completely new, you come out renewed, rejuvenated, revitalized, regenerated. And trust me, at that time you're God-like. You have solutions to all, everything. Problems challenge you, and challenges make you a champion. So remember, problems challenge you, and champions are born out of challenges. So all of you are champions here. Very nice. How many of you are patriotic about being an Indian? About our sanskars, about our gunas? Okay? So now, we will all stand up in our chairs, and we will take pride in being an Indian. Come on. I'll play you a lovely song. No, I mean just. Okay. Come on, move.
सुनो गौर से दुनिया वालों, बुरी नजर ना हम पे डालो, चाहे जितना जोर लगा लो, सबसे आगे होंगे हिंदुस्तान.
Come on. Cheer up.
सुनो गौर से दुनिया वालों, बुरी नजर ना हम पे डालो, चाहे जितना जोर लगा लो, सबसे आगे होंगे हिंदुस्तानी. हिंदुस्तानी हमने कहा है, तुम भी कहो. हमने कहा है जो तुम भी कहो. हम मिलजुल के बोले अब तो यारा.
Good. How many of you guys got excited when you saw the Chak De hockey team? That was true woman power, right? Right? Now that is the spirit of India. The spirit of India goes back hundreds of thousands of years, being one of the first civilization who understood science, who understood geometry, sacred geometry, who understood medicine, understood yoga, Ayurveda. The first civilization on this earth which had seers, the Rishi Munis, the Pandits, where Buddhism, Tantra, Zen, everything emanates, comes out of India. If you were to see, everything in the world which is spiritual has some deep connection with India, is born out of India. So whenever I hear this song, Chak De India, it really, my chest swells. And, I become proud that I'm an Indian, but that should not divide you from being global. We are proud of our roots, but the roots of this world sees itself as fruits across the world. Okay, so let's play this number. How many of you can come up on the stage and let's do a small train? Come on, let's do a small train from here. I just need 7-8 people of Chak De India. Come on, for those who haven't come. Inhibitions, shed your inhibitions, come up now. Come on. Come. Zav shying away now. Come on, last year. Anadana. Come on. Okay, listen. We will make a chain without holding each other, and I will teach you how to walk the ramp. And you follow me exactly, okay? I'll do exactly what Miss Indias do. Yeah, I've seen so much of them training them that I've become one. Okay, loosen up yourself. Loosen up yourself completely. Take a deep breath.
आज हम 2
Take
किलोमीटर
a deep
ज्यादा
breath.
भागेंगे
Very good. Come on, nod, and walk up your knees.
कुछ करिए
Come on,
कुछ
come on,
करिए
come on.
नस नस मेरी
Come on,
खोले
clap.
हाय कुछ करिए कुछ करिए बस बड़ा बोले अब कुछ करिए ओ कोई तो चल जिद फड़िए तू बेतरिए या मरिए हाय कोई तो चल जिद फड़िए
And together sing
तू
loudly.
बेतरिए या मरिए
Come on, together.
चक दे इंडिया चक दे चक दे इंडिया चक दे चक दे इंडिया
Of decades of seeing fashion shows everywhere across the world, more in India, one thing comes to fore, that whenever an Indian woman or an international woman is clad completely in a non-skimpy Indian attire, we get the best appreciation. This is the power of India. We don't need to reveal to look beautiful. We look beautiful in our beings. So, ladies and gentlemen, with this, I will allow you 5 minutes for Q&A. And thank you all the ladies. You all were so beautiful. And I have an answer. Chalo, bolo. How do you get to meet the Ambani? How do you get to meet Neeta Ambani? My question to you is, why would you want to meet Neeta Ambani? Every woman here is better than Neeta Ambani. Okay, you want to meet Neeta Ambani? I will take your request ahead. Really? 100%. That's my word. How long it takes, I don't promise. Yes, in your lifetime for sure. Any other challenging, intriguing question? Loud.
The current malignant rate in women is day by day raising up.
Yeah.
Is there any solution from your
Yes. See, malignancy rate in women is soaring high. So what is the solution? The solution is that A, be active, very active, be very alive, eat everything that adds value to you and not that takes away value. Eat everything that heals you, not destroys you. Okay, so everything that I said. Pomegranates are very good. Pomegranates, very good. Vegetable juices, very good. Coconut water, very good. Aloe vera, very good. Giloy, very good. So, there are so many herbs and so many fruits and different seasons you consume. Number 2, lot of breathing. Regulated breathing. How many of you like Baba Ramdev? Follow him. He's too good. He started a revolution of yoga. He's once again started the revolution of yoga, which is really credit-worthy. He's reignited, rekindled the fire of yoga in the world. So do breathing, do your postures, swim, cycle, walk, dance. Come on, play music and dance on your bed alone. That is catharsis, letting go, letting off, scream, shout, yell, laugh. Okay? And please, a woman is supposed to woo a man. A woman is supposed to woo a man. Love your man so much, treat him like a god that he comes on his knees and becomes your slave. How's that? Good joke. Yeah. Why not? Why not? No, this is the way you can make your man a slave. And then he treats you like a goddess.
We don't have to make him a slave, Nikki.
Oh, they already are. That's nice. Yes. So, lady, coming to your question, that a lifestyle of exercise, sunshine, breath, hydration, sleep, laughter, and being optimistic. Everybody says be positive, be positive, be positive. So boring. Be optimistic. Whatever has happened has happened. You can change it from there. Change is constant. You rather be the choreographer of your own change. Be the choreographer of your own change. And this is what my book is all about, the Shunyam Quotient. It makes you the choreographer of your own change. There are wonderful topics of food, exercise, sleep, etc. It will help you change your life and change the world around you. So, say bye-bye to malignancy. If at all you've become an inadvertent, naive host to cancer ever, love it, treat it, and it will leave with respect. It will leave. There's nothing to fight it. Who are you fighting? It's a part of you. There's nothing, aggression, fight, nothing. Just love it, accept it, love it, treat it with care. It will leave as it came. I promise you. Perfect. Yes, I'll tell you. Good. You know, as I started, I got a very impromptu, quirky idea of announcing Priyanka Chopra's name. Laughter, emotion, letting go, shedding your inhibitions. And very important, if you want to be emotionally happy, don't wait for the other to reach out to you. Reach out to everybody and you will begin to get more and more fulfilled. Your sorries and thank yous with hugs and genuine reaching out will be the biggest outlet. Cry it out, laugh it out, and connect with as many connections. Your body connects with all its organs and heals better. Because the world resonates with your mind. The mind of the world, the mind of every individual resonates with your mind. And you get in somewhere and you see a beam of smile, you walk towards. If somebody looks through you, you walk away or you turn around. You don't be such a person. If you turn around and change your magnetic field, you'll begin to attract the whole world at your feet. And emotionally, you'll be very sound. Sing a lot, listen to music, watch movies which are funny, have a lot of romance in your life. Lot of romance. If you want to be emotionally happy, have a lot of romance in your life. And remember, a man doesn't know how to seduce a woman. A man is ill-equipped. But a wife, a lover, a spouse can very decently, very warmly seduce a man purely with her love, purely with her smiles, purely with her service, purely with her being, purely with her demeanor. Simply being is very seductive. But being with anger, tu aa mujhe to dikhati hu. Khatam, romance gaya. So, please, today's Women's Day, I will answer everything in favor of women only.
Today you are the holistic wellness god of India. But 30 years back when you started, this was...
I was a disciple.
So what inspired you to enter this?
You know what? A state of surrender moves everything in the river. Wherever it has to reach, it will reach. A state of surrender moves everything and eventually you land up wherever you're meant to be. In the state of surrender. You try swimming against the tide and you'll be struggling all your life. So, well, I could say that I was probably born for this, cut out for this. My genetic signature spelled out health, healing, wellness, well-being. So here am I today before you. You must plan. You must plan if you need to travel, buy your tickets, book your hotels. But for larger things in life, let life just unfold as it comes. And then that is when you will begin to recognize and acknowledge miracles, surprises, jackpots, treasures. And life will be fun living, no? Otherwise it's so boring, predicting life or making life so predictive. So should we, time up. Time up. Don't forget to buy my Shunyam quotient outside. So I hope you all are optimized, maximized, energized, naturalized, specialized, revitalized, regularized, eternalized, internalized, revolutionized, and got Mickey-mized. Thank you. Love you all.
My dear ladies, if you truly believe that Dr. Mickey is oh so fine, can we have a louder round of applause for him? Dr. Mehta, thank you so much for, teaching us that expensive bag won't go as far as our bodies do. So we need to first invest in ourselves and then in business. Well, ladies, on that note, good conversations are more stimulating than all the tea, coffee, and distilled alcohol in the world. So here's what we're going to do. For the next 30 minutes, we're going to get out of those chairs and we're going to discuss our WoW stories and maybe some top secrets, if you want to, with one another. Because, it's not every day that all of these powerhouse women come together, right? So we're going to break for the next 30 minutes. You can go grab some refreshments, have conversations with one another. Don't forget to share your WoW story. Now, one more thing. How many of you have got your best selfies tonight? Raise your hand. Come on. So, yeah, you know the ratio, right? When you take 100 or 1,000 selfies, you reach your one best selfie. So don't forget to keep clicking those selfies, groupies with everyone you meet. And of course, if you're on Twitter, don't forget to tag us on Outlook Business. And of course, use the official Twitter hashtag, which is WOW2019. So come on, get out of your seats, go forth. I'm going to see you back in the room 30 minutes from now. Take care and enjoy.
कुछ यादें हमेशा साथ रहती हैं। आज भी मुझे याद है ये ड्राइंग मैंने कब बनाई थी। शायद मेरी ड्राइंग बाकी बच्चों से बिल्कुल अलग थी। कैसे बताती कि अपने पापा को सिर्फ तस्वीरों में ही देखा है। लेकिन उनके बिना भी हमारी छोटी सी दुनिया में खुशियों की कभी कमी न थी।
The very lovely Xenia Fernandez.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Kalyan Jewellers presents Outlook Business Women of Worth 2019. If you're actually ready for the biggest and the best women of worth in Bengaluru, then come on, make some noise. Okay, not a bad beginning. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about fashion. You know, while some use fashion to merely look good, if you ask me, fashion really has to reflect who you are. It has to reflect where you are in the present moment and also where you are going. Ladies and gentlemen, be prepared to be dazzled with a stunning fashion show. And in fact, while most of you are looking prepared, some of them are still taking their time. So I'm going to quickly give them 10 seconds to please settle down. Okay, that's fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's my absolute pleasure to present to you a fashion show that showcases India's best jewelry and craftsmanship from the country's oldest and largest traditional and contemporary jewelry brand, Kalyan Jewelers. Please put your hands together. a WoW fashion show. Come on, a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Displaying the finest of what we call our armors of everyday life, jewelry. Thank you so much. That was absolutely brilliant. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, while this evening plays out perfectly, let's rewind a little bit and talk about what Women of Worth is, where it comes from, and where it's going to. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome on stage Outlook Business Editor N. Mahalakshmi.
Ladies and gentlemen, lots of ladies and especially the few gentlemen who are accompanying the ladies. Such an overwhelming response from Bangalore for their first ever event. We didn't expect it. Thank you very much, Bangalore, the Women of Worth of Bangalore. 3 cheers to the Women of Worth of Bangalore. Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip! So I'm very proud to say that we are the youngest business magazine in the country. We are 13 years old. But we have been the fastest growing magazine, and I'm very proud to say that now we are the second largest read business magazine in the country. And this has really been made possible because of our starkly differentiated content. And one of the examples of that is the Women of Worth platform that we created 4 years ago, when most other publications focused on powerful women, most influential women, and there were repetitive names. We decided that we needed to tell the most inspirational stories of women entrepreneurs. And there were a whole bunch of skeptics. They said, the idea is great, but after 2 years, Mahalakshmi, rest assured, you're going to be scratching your head and thinking, whom am I going to profile? Because there aren't so many women entrepreneurs who've really scaled up businesses and will be worthy of making very brilliant stories in your magazine. And to our delight, after 3 years, we figured that we had enough and more stories and very less space in the magazine to cover so many beautiful stories. So last year, we decided that we needed to do more, and we decided to create a portal, which is live now, wow.outlookbusiness.com. And this space and the platform is very, very, very important for us and super special for me personally, because we've done something people were not really gung-ho about, and it's become much bigger than what we anticipated. And it's going to be a far larger platform than just the portal and the magazine stories. We are extremely excited about it. And I'm really, truly touched, delighted about the overwhelming response in Bangalore. Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you so much, Mahalakshmi. Well, it's now time to call upon our Women of Worth who did not only dream, but in fact, she also dared. Ladies and gentlemen, she's here to tell us her wow story of how she gave up her corporate career to pursue her love for cooking and really channeled her passion into building one of India's most successful food tech companies. Ladies, put your hands together for founder Fresh Menu, Rashmi Daga.
Hi everyone, it's my pleasure to be here, and trust me, a decade back, 10 years back, I think it was just like a dream that you would be able to do something that breaks from the regular mold and probably come and speak at a forum and, create something which makes impact in life, in my own life and for a lot of people. So I think it's a huge privilege to be in this place. I would like to start from where it all started. As a kid, come from a very conservative family. I think first generation of kids who actually studied or who were pushed to perform well academically, and happened to use that push to get into Delhi College of Engineering and IIM Ahmedabad. And I remember back then a lot of people used to tell my parents that you've got your girl too educated and you're in trouble. Coming from that point of view in life to building a career, starting with IBM sales, and again it was a a choice that was not a very common choice. I know a lot of friends and people around would check with me, do you really want to build a career in sales and why are you doing sales? Today I can tell you that sales is the biggest reason I'm able to do what I'm doing. Sales as a career teaches you a lot of things, right from building relationships, understanding business, product, actually getting someone to pay for your product. And I think that learning in life is probably never to be compromised. So did about 5 years of sales between IBM and J&J Medical. And I think from there, there was a bug that you have to do something own in your life and not keep doing a job. I think job is something that most of us are trained to believe that we work for others. I think once you do your own startup, once you shift to the entrepreneur side, you realize that a job itself is very important. And I think for women in India, that itself was a huge hurdle to cross over, that instead of being at home, you actually work and you build out a career. So honestly, whether you work in a corporate job, whether you work at a startup or you're an entrepreneur, I think we're doing a great service in moving our society forward, that we actually go ahead and work. I think from there on, my bug was that, let me build something of my own and let me try and build a business. So first step was actually work at a startup so that you learn and probably learn at someone else's expense. So I did learn at somebody's expense. I joined a startup called Tutor Vista. Tutor Vista was an edtech startup back in 2008, considered a hot startup in the space. We were teaching students in the US. For 3.5 years, I did everything that was possible at that startup. Sales, operations, customer service, recruitment. We actually went ahead and built one of the largest virtual workforces in India, sitting with a very small team, so resource was a constraint, and with about 8 people in Bangalore in a small office, we were actually recruiting hundreds of tutors every month. And these were mostly women who wanted to work a few hours, work as a consultant in their spare time and earn an extra income. I'm talking about 2008. We did that for 3.5 years. I did tutor recruitment and then moved on to doing some sales there. Bootstrapped a startup. There's a lot of confidence that I've learned what to do at a startup. I bootstrapped a startup for a year. Again, I think early timing probably was not the best of time to do a startup. A call taken in life to shut down what is not working. So I did shut it down after a year of hard work. A lot of learning, which are even useful today, but if things are not working, you cannot drag them on, and you have to let them go. One big lesson that I learned at that time is being perfectionist does not help. As women, I think we have been trained consciously, subconsciously, that you have to always excel, you have to be perfect, you have to be very, very good. But trust me, especially if you're trying to be an entrepreneur, trying to start up, perfection is something that if you keep chasing perfection, you will be really slow and you may be left behind. And perfection is not something that takes you fast. So my lesson in life was that iteration is good. You can start with something, you can keep improving it if it works, but perfecting a product before even releasing it is not something that goes down very well. So closed that startup, moved on, worked a few roles, and then started with Fresh Menu again. Honestly, as an individual, I for all my life, I kept thinking that I have to work because I don't want to be at home, and especially taking care of food and stuff at home. So starting a company in food was not a very easy decision because it looked like you're actually going back to where you all was running away from. But I think Fresh Menu has been amazing because we've been able to change and help a lot of people do what they want to do better, save that 1 hour of cooking every day. So it's actually an option created where good quality food cooked in a local kitchen can come to people. And that was first principles at Fresh Menu, that we are not cooking something that we are not eating ourselves. We are not proud to eat at our own homes. And therefore, it was very different from all that people were trying to do. This was actually thought from day one as a fresh food company. We source material every day. We actually cook in a local kitchen with trained people all the time. So food that comes to customer's house from a fresh menu kitchen is cooked either 10 minutes, 15 minutes before they ordered or 15 minutes after they've ordered. And that was a huge change compared to what the market was doing. Market runs a very central kitchen, factory-made, frozen food model because that's what is very, very scalable. So again, I think scale is very important to think from a startup point of view, but if your product does not work, you don't want to scale something that does not work as a core product, and therefore scale from day one is not what you need to obsess over. First, you need to obsess over what is my service, what's my product, why should a consumer like it? And once that happens, then solutions for scale are easier to think about, which is what we did at Fresh Menu. So as an individual, I think as an entrepreneur, the journey has been huge in last almost 5 years. Every day has been a learning. Every day you learn a new lesson in solving problems, in building patience. Being a mother and taking a decision to do a startup. When I was starting Fresh Menu, my daughter was 3 years old. And the big question in my head was, my kid is very small and I need a lot of time. And I think it's hard to keep the guilt away every day because as an entrepreneur, I spend way too much time at work. But I realized that my kid's going to be small for me all my life. So she's not going to grow up and she's not going to become big and independent very easily. So be it 3 or be it 6, it's not going to change, but I should pursue my dream and I should not let that go. It was a tough one. For first year is a big struggle at a startup. You're surviving day on day. I used to work 7 days a week. I used to carry her to the kitchen. She has spent time in the kitchen. She's been in my car while I'm delivering the food. I think she's very proud of Fresh Menu today. And I think she's growing up to be a very independent girl, and I think she'll be way, way better than what our generation is, right? These kids are much smarter. So I think I end up feeling that bit of responsibility that if we do not break away from the old mold, our kids are not going to have a different life, a different society. So here it is. I think I'm so glad to see so many women and so much of, push for entrepreneurship. I think women entrepreneurship is at times being considered as something which is a very small niche, but there are a lot of us who have a lot of aspiration, a lot of strength, and a lot of things that we could all achieve. So here it is. I think India is going to change very, very quickly for women. Thank you.
Ladies, let's have a louder cheer for our women of worth, Rashmi Daga. Rashmi. Thank you so much for telling your story straight from the heart. That's exactly how we needed to hear it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you'll agree with me when I say that events like these are not possible without the support of our partners. We'd like to thank our hospitality partner, Sheraton, community partners, Vicky Flow Bengaluru, Guardian of Dreams, Jobs for Her, CWE, NSR CEL IIMB, Friday Convent, HEN, Ladders, Great Places to Work, 10,000 Startups, and Vani Sharma. Come on, a huge round of applause for all our partners. So every big business starts small. But you'll agree with me when I say that starting a business is like jumping onto a roller coaster without a safety harness. And when you're in such a dynamic business environment, growth does not happen merely by chance. It is actually the result of several forces coming together. And when these forces are led by a woman, entrepreneurship takes wings. And it certainly is in our country, India. However, only a few truly have been able to build businesses and take them to their absolute logical scale. So the question for all of us is, what is the toolkit for scaling up successfully? To answer this question, ladies and gentlemen, I have the privilege of inviting on stage a very special panel. First up, let's invite on stage the moderator for this discussion, Outlook Business Deputy Editor, Kripa Mahalingam. And now let's quickly invite our super panelists, Sulaja Firodia Motwani, founder and CEO, Kinetic Green Energy and Power Solutions. and Director, Race Power Experts, Nidhi Gupta. Co-founder, Strategy Garage, Revati Ashok. Co-founder, Credit Mantri, Gauri Mukherjee. Co-founder, Teleradiology Solutions, Sunita Maheshwari. And with that, ladies, Kripa, over to you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a privilege to do this panel discussion today. It's never easy being an entrepreneur. There's so many decisions, hefty pay packets to let off, lifestyle changes, and there's so many decisions, and even tougher for a woman who has to balance family and work. But today, I have with me on stage successful women entrepreneurs who have not only taken the plunge, but have done it successfully and have built a business of great scale. And today, they're here to share the story with you. Today, I don't want to play the role of a moderator. The central theme of this panel discussion is to find the secret behind this, how you scaled up your businesses. So I'm going to ask each one of you, what is your secret of scaling up your business? Nidhi, I'm going to start with you. You started your business in 2012, and you scaled it 11, and it's scaled up to be an 800 crore business. So tell us a little bit more on how you scaled up the business and the challenges and how you managed to do this in such a short while.
Good evening, everyone. So we started in 2011. My brother, Mr. Rahul Gupta, has started this company. That time, it was a consultancy firm, but when I completed my engineering in 2012, I joined this company, and after that, we started as an EPC. EPC stands for Engineering, Procurement, and Construction. When I joined the company, for the first month, I stayed in the office itself. But from the inner side, like, I was not feeling satisfied because that 1 month, I was just finding like what solar is, how solar works, what are the policies and all. So I requested, or I had taken permission from my parents and especially from my brother also, to give me a permission to stay at site to understand core phenomena like what is solar, how execution goes on and everything. I went to Bikaner. It's a desert area in Rajasthan where our first project was taken up. So when it was a startup of the company, and Rahul sir was taken the responsibility to build new businesses from the client. Thereafter, I took the responsibility to take the entire execution of the project. I still remember, I want to share one experience in my very early stage. It was my 4th day at the site, and like 20 men were standing in front of me with the hockey stick, and they were pressurizing me to stop the work. At that time, my age was 23 years, and being a girl, I felt that I am giving more logical or impactful argument than a man at that age. After that, I moved to police station. That was also my first time when I went into the police station to issue an FIR. And after that, I met a lady collector in Bikaner. Seeing her as a lady collector it gives me more spirit and confidence to build a self-confidence in me that yes, I can do it. I can face all these challenges in future itself. So this was the first. I still remember this was the first incident which brings me out. Yes, Nidhi, you can do it. You can take up any challenge which comes in front of you. In the over the site only, like when was like a 3 months tenure period was going on, I started with the purchase part also, and the first purchase was the bricks, which is used for the construction of our site. And thereafter, my procurement journey started off. I returned back to my corporate office that was located in Delhi. So when I returned back, fortunately, the cash flow of the company was very good because of the commissioning of first project. And Mr. Rahul had given me an responsibility to handle finance also. Now, I am a simple engineer, and I passed engineering with the grace of God and with the grace of luck. And like now, if you are handling a company with a turnover of around 70 CR, is actually a aim in darkness. But that time also, it was the second time I felt, Nidhi, you are the one who can control the expenses and let the money go at the right place. So at that time, that was a time when I started with the purchase part of the company, the finance part of the company, and the execution. Till today, when a company turnover is 800 CR, the team of procurement and finance is same. The fundamentals are same that we have started in 2012. The only things changed is the process and the layers. So this was the journey all around. But yes, entrepreneurship for a woman is not a simpler task. When I had decided to go there to site to understand each and everything, that was not an easy a decision for me, because it was an all rural area, no girl is there, no security is there, and you have to fulfill all your things like by your own. So that was the starting of my, it's a challenging life, but now it's a very lovable journey, and I'm enjoying it. Thanks a lot.
Great. Gauri, you had a successful corporate career spanning more than a decade with Citibank and Stanchart. So how did you make the transition from being, in corporate life to becoming an entrepreneur? What were some of the learnings that you had, from your corporate career that you took to become an entrepreneur?
Hi, can you hear me? So I'm one of those people who started my career, so did my engineering and then an MBA, like most people, went to BITS and IMC, and spent about 17 years working in banks. So worked in HSBC, Citibank, and Standard Chartered. So corporate career, and and along the way, there were a couple of things that were, to me, learning experiences. So after my first stint at HSBC, which was a corporate banking management trainee stint, was when the first wave of .com was happening in the country. And I got excited by all the noise around it, and I joined SIFI, which was India's first internet startup. And it was a heady phase. It was when SIFI listed in NASDAQ. Loved that stint and figured that I liked this cusp of business and technology. Having figured it, unfortunately, by the time I got this vision and this is what I love doing, was when the crash happened and needed a job. So, the joke used to be at that time when you didn't, you kind of worked in a startup and it didn't necessarily work out, was B2B or B2C. You went back to banking or went back to consulting. So I went back to good old basics of banking. But I joined Citibank's startup internet team and spent about 12 years at Citi. Loved that stint. It was the early phases, so the digital business at Citi meant there was a large part of digitizing payments, a large part of it around acquiring customers online. And in that phase, there weren't many people. Payments was not a hot topic the way it is right now. So ended up formulating a fair amount of regulation closely with a lot of stakeholders in the ecosystem. So I was the chairperson of the RBI committee on chip and pin. So every time you swipe your card and curse somebody saying, why do I have to remember the pin? It's unfortunately a bunch of us that got together and said that's safer for the consumer. Likewise for e-commerce and OTP transactions, which almost all the e-com startups hated us for it. But anyway, just be that as it may be. After that, I moved on to Standard Chartered, which is a Middle East Asia Africa bank, to set up digital marketing across all these markets. So I used to travel quite a bit. Along the way, I had 2 kids. My daughter is now 14. My son is 11. Always wanted to do a startup. It was always in this, it was a kind of space that I was in where worked with companies, had seen companies succeed, I'd seen companies that didn't succeed, but kind of liked the smell of how these people worked and the space. So to me, it was really a question of when I would do it rather than shouldn't I do it. And I've been toying with multiple ideas. So in 2014, when I connected with my co-founders, who used to be my colleagues at Citi, felt 2 things were right in a market and a consumer sense. One, there was a certain e-commerce was obviously taking off in the country. There was a consumer demand. The second, of course, was the mobile and the mobile internet usage was picking up. So I felt if I didn't do it now, I'll never get to do it. And I really, a lot of what, Rashmi spoke about in terms of choices and, guilt and all of that, I wouldn't have traded this change from a corporate into a entrepreneurship for anything. The last 3.5 years has been a journey which has helped me actually redefine myself. And in many ways, I feel the entrepreneurship journey is one I've had to leave behind a business card where a title and a company would open doors automatically. And I think that was actually a significant difference. And it was all about people actually responding to Gauri, the individual, rather than Gauri coming from this institution. That was a big step. The second, of course, was the fact that, working in large institutions used to a lot of support, administrative assistants, so here I am booking my own tickets, worrying about, is the admin in? So a lot of day-to-day changes, which are very physical and very tangible in how they eat into time. And so these were things that were quite a big change. But for me, I think the biggest and the most positive thing has been that a startup, because simply the resources are constrained, forces one to make choices which are, I think, a lot sharper and much better thought through. In terms of, the choice could be something as simple as, who do we hire? Can we afford this person? Which in a large institution, no questions asked. You have the capital, you have the access to that kind of talent, and you, of course, recruit them. So here you're worrying about, can I afford? How can I make it work? The second, of course, is the challenge around choices about a business is not scaling. You want to look at it hard and say, what should I be doing? Should I be investing more time and energy? Because the logical thing to solve a problem that one is used to is to say, if something's not working, spend more time, spend more energy, you can solve it. That's human nature. But here the contra is you have only 24 hours in a day. And actually making that choice of time and saying, with this, my time is precious. Does it make sense to invest more and more into it? Can I get somebody to do it? So those have been questions that I think have forced me to look at time and forced me to look at things that I truly stand for with a lot more integrity. I think that would be the big change.
Solution, you're a 3rd-generation entrepreneur yourself, and you drove the restructuring for the traditional business, and now you have a new baby that you're very excited about, your electronic vehicles. So tell us a little bit of how you kind of drove the restructuring and were able to kind of see into the future and kind of adapt quickly and scale up a new business in such short time.
Hi, everyone. First of all, you're a wonderful audience. And even I enjoyed doing the exercises with Mickey Mehta and all of you. So thanks for the experience, Outlook.
Thank you.
Let me quickly introduce myself because I'm not from Bangalore and I see a lot of the leading ladies of Bangalore here, which you must be familiar with. My name is Sulaja Firodia Motwani, and I vice chair the Kinetic Group in Pune. We are an automotive group, and unlike my very eminent panelists here, I'm a 3rd-generation entrepreneur. So my story is a little different, but it has its own, I guess, challenges. So our family has been into automobile business for the last 60 years. We are about a 7,000 crore group. Bajaj Tempo, which is now called Force Motors, and Kinetic, which made the Luna and the Kinetic Honda, and many other products. This is sort of the legacy which I inherited. And now I share the Kinetic arm of the group. My cousin looks after the Force Motors arm of the group. Just to give you a background. I've been in the industry for the last 20 years after coming back from the US. And I joined at the bottom of the ranks, and then I headed the two-wheeler business. And I've been handling pretty much, I would say, all the operations of the group. I share most of the companies of the group. Now, what I want to share with all of you is something about my story which may be of interest to you. Having been a good student, I also always wanted to be part of the business. I have two sisters who never joined the family business. So it's not that because you're a family member, you get to be in the business. It was only because I wanted to be, and my father or my grandfather always gave me the platform that, if I have the interest and potential, that I should be given opportunity, that I came back from the US to join the business. So everything was wonderful. I had been a good student. I had done well in the US. I went to a good business school. I worked there. I came to Kinetic. Everything was going great. And then there was a patch in our business. She referred to it as the restructuring, where our business hit a very rough patch. And by then I was already managing director of the two-wheeler business. So the responsibility of the restructuring, of finding a solution in this very difficult situation, was mine. And also I had decided that my father, who's a very eminent industrialist, but also a very, he's a Padma awardee, he's a very renowned, very down-to-earth person. I didn't want him to be troubled by any of the restructuring. So I didn't want him to get, disturbed by the difficulties that the business was facing. So I decided to take the whole thing on myself. It was for the first time in my life that I had faced failure. And of course, businesses go through ups and downs. But you can't help but, attribute it to yourself when you are heading something and there is a rough patch. So it's very difficult to say that, not to say that, oh my God, what did I do wrong or something like that. But I'm happy to say that we restructured the entire group successfully. It took us almost 4 years. Unlike what is happening today, where many of the big groups are going through big difficult periods, and they are, there is debt defaults and bankruptcies being declared and people losing jobs and all of that. We didn't face any of that. We restructured the group in the most honorable way. We repaid all our debts. We reorganized our businesses. We created new opportunities from the restructuring. And the business which was in trouble, we did a joint venture. We sold our stake in it. So tough decisions were made of selling something which was close to your heart, starting some new businesses, taking tough decisions and repaying your liabilities rather than being greedy and trying to hold on. But we came out of it wonderfully with our reputation intact and with our employees' jobs intact and businesses intact. So the learning here is that you do go through a rough patch, and at that time when you find your inner strength and you kind of feel stronger that, okay, I've done this, so if there's another difficult period in my life, it can be done. Subsequently, in the last 4 years, I wanted to do something more, something new. And my grandfather had always told me that if you want to find a business that will be successful, you have to look at the trends in the society. And if your business is aligned with what's happening in the society, then you have a great 50% of the job is done. So we heard the internet, the food menu story, we heard the credit mantra story, we heard the solar story. These are all aligned to what's happening in the society. Today, society is going digital. The society is looking for convenience. The society is looking for green solutions. So your business, if it's aligned to these big trends, then you will have been in the right place at the right time, but not by chance, but by having thought through. So I decided that I love automobiles. But the new trend in automotive technology is green technology. So just like everything else is going green, it's important that automotive, which is based on engine technology for so many years, has to change. And possibly electric or some similar technologies are the future. So I launched a new company called Kinetic Green, which is into electric vehicles, which are battery-operated vehicles, which have no emission, no noise, they don't use any fuel. And we have in the last 4 years, it's a new industry, it's a small, nascent, growing industry with great potential. We have now become India's #1 company in electric three-wheelers, like autos, rickshaws, and also #2 in buggies, golf carts, this range, and about to now launch electric scooters. And we think that there is great potential in this segment. Again, because India is a pyramid, so we are looking at the bottom of the pyramid where millions of people are using two-wheelers, three-wheelers, and such solutions. And if you give them green solutions, the impact on the pollution and our environment will be much greater than the top, which is a few people using cars. So we are focusing on such solutions. And so now I'm again in a startup phase, so to speak, and really enjoying it. So that's a little bit about my story. Happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Sunita, you run the country's largest tele-radiology company, and you managed to scale up without any funding. So tell us your story and why you decided not to take any funding and scale it up on your own, and how did you manage to do that?
I have to admit I'm sitting on a panel of entrepreneurs, but I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. I don't think, I had one of those sudden urges to become on an Outlook business panel. But I'm a doctor, and my poor husband couldn't get a job when we moved back from Yale to Bangalore. So we landed up becoming entrepreneurs. And I think my learning was that, if life gives you an opportunity, then just grab it with both hands and run. And so it's where those patient, those very, what they call good patient entrepreneurs over the last 15 years. So we started off by reporting for American hospitals, CT scans and X-rays and MRIs, which would come to Whitefield, to our Bangalore office. And we expanded from that into now about 20 countries around the world. Thank you. And I think the way, and I'll get to why we didn't take funding. So all the VCs and P guys are my best friends because I don't take their money, but we thought about it. I mean, every entrepreneur will think about money. But I think for us, what was a driving force was, how can we do this? How can we do it well? And we kept focusing on that. And in fact, we focused on it for 14 years. And I had friends who run PR firms who said, how come you're never out there talking about what you're doing? So I said, I'm really sorry, we've just been busy doing it. We haven't had the time, we haven't really talked about it. Of course, some of that has changed recently. But I think, one of the mantras we used as we scaled, and this was a very conscious decision about 4 or 5 years ago, when you're private limited and you build up, we had a very simple business philosophy. If we had money, we would spend it. If we didn't have money, we didn't spend it. So when we had money, we bought a little piece of land in Whitefield. When we had a little bit more money, we built ourselves an office. So we kind of went with this revenue model one step at a time. And I think this simple philosophy, which sounds like common sense, so for every rupee we make, we only spend 70 paisa. So we have an EBITDA of 30%, and that's been something we've followed over the years. Now, my father was a management consultant, and we have no business degree. I have no MBA, nothing. We're both 2 doctors running this thing. And he gave me a very simple piece of advice. He said, do not treat this company like it is yours. That company is like another person. You take your salary. You want your company does well, take dividends. But reinvest in that company. So I have my dad's picture up in our office, and that's what we did. As we had profits, we built out one clinic in Whitefield because we realized that healthcare in India is something that everyone needs. Everyone runs to the hospitals. But, you know, you really could go to your doctor at a primary care clinic and see them and not have to sit in in a hospital for 8 hours. So we built one clinic called RxDX in Whitefield. We ran that one clinic for 10 years. So you may think I'm really boring as an entrepreneur, but we just ran that one clinic and we had a lot of learnings. What works, what doesn't work, when do patients get annoyed, who are good doctors, who are not good doctors, how do you compensate doctors, you know, how do you make a primary care clinic viable? Most primary care chains in India who have been funded have actually, most of the VCs have lost their money because you charge 350 rupees, out of that the clinic gets 40 rupees. I mean, you're not talking big margins here. So we ran one clinic for 10 years, and 3 years ago we decided to scale. So we just opened our 5th clinic and now our 6th clinic in the last 2 years from profits of that first clinic. Then we took the profits of both these and invested in a tech company. And one of my other learnings as an entrepreneur was, if you believe in your idea, be willing to invest in it yourself. So all my friends said, why aren't you using OPM? You all know OPM? Other people's money. They're like, why are you sitting here? You know, so I said, no, we believe in OOM, our own money. So I think my learning as an entrepreneur was, if you believe in your idea, then be willing to put behind it. Why do you want the VC to put behind it every time? So when we believed that, you know, technology for telemedicine, we were using American tech. And we were paying a company in South Carolina for technology, and we said, hey, we're going to build it in-house. So we have no idea about these software engineers. They work 5 days a week, we work 7 days a week. We had all these cultural issues, but we built out a tech company. We now have 60 engineers, and as we saw the AI, you know, the artificial intelligence enter, and as you said, you've got to keep, you know, your eyes and ears to the ground. So we now have an AI lab that we've invested in. So yes, maybe someday we'll take PE funding. But I think we didn't take it for many reasons. I personally believe there's some fields, maybe healthcare for sure, where you don't want it very much driven by money. And as an entrepreneur, while money is important, money is not the only thing. And I truly believe if you do something well, and you focus on doing it well, money follows you. So yes, so apart from not wanting a VC sitting on my head, I think just following these very simple, basic lessons of reinvesting in one's own businesses, living life, staying simple, staying honest, it sounds like common sense, but not getting carried away with, I live the same lifestyle, maybe okay, maybe a little better today, but not letting one's values change as one has money in one's life. And really keeping to those simple principles, it is possible to scale. I will tell you, we were stuck at a certain revenue about 5 years ago. We hadn't moved in 3 years. We were just the same. And then we decided, okay, we need to scale. We want to scale. Let's put it this way. We do want to scale. So we went out and got ourselves a global sales head and a CFO. And I was the CFO for 10 years. And I've never done finance. So there are times in the organizational growth that you need different things. And then you go out and find them. But I think just staying true to oneself and working at having a service that people love and want to use, you can't fail.
Surely you can't fail with that. Revati, you work with a lot of entrepreneurs. You help them scale their business. So what is the secret behind scaling a business, and what do you tell your entrepreneurs?
So my life trajectory has been a little different. I did my IIM from management from IIM Bangalore, and then worked in Sony as my first early job, manufacturing, only women on the shop floor, and it was a strange experience, and that was very long, very, very long ago. Most of you in the room wouldn't have been born at that point. And then I worked for a company called Dotsal, which is in general contracting. I spent some time in Iraq. I worked in very difficult circumstances, very male-dominated. Again, only women, and but those were not the days where diversity was a point to be discussed. I don't think that was even known in the dictionary. So you took gender for granted. You didn't really wear gender on your sleeve. So worked along in very, very male-dominated society companies, because there was no technology company at that time. And then I joined a company called AMP. I was the first employee. That was a multinational. I helped them set up in India. So I was kind of an entrepreneur. I became the director of the company at the age of 31, and was the CFO of that company, director on the board. Didn't know anything, what it means to be a director, what it means to, what are the liabilities you carry on your head being a director. But then just plowed along and did this. It was a manufacturing company. We did some really interesting things. I was there with them for 8 years. We did a joint venture for supply to Mercedes-Benz. We did a joint venture for supply to Samsung. So there were very, very interesting moments in those days, again, pre-IT, and going and negotiating with Mercedes-Benz, because every joint venture that you put up in India for supply of parts to Mercedes-Benz requires Mercedes-Benz approval. So really negotiating with the Mercedes-Benz team and convincing them that you could manufacture in India and really support them in Bremen, where their factory was, just in time. So there was a lot of learning out of all of that negotiation. Similarly with Samsung, convincing them that you could supply to Korea and just in time, and ensure that you could, from India, in spite of all the logistics problems, you could in fact rely on a partner like this. And then came the internet boom. I was perfectly happy in my company and doing all these wonderful things. I was on the board, and then somebody headhunted me out and said, there is this wonderful company called Microland. Why don't you join us? The chairman of the company actually headhunted me out. I said no several times, and then he buttonholed me one day and said, and that time they had raised money in those days, very, very big numbers, a valuation of $100 million. News Corp had invested. Several others, JP Morgan had invested, ICICI Venture had invested. And those were really early days. That was 2000. And finally, I think I gave in to that persistence of over 6 months and took that plunge and joined in March. And I think in April, and I think somewhere around the time is when the internet crashed. So from a situation when I was told that I would be the group CFO taking 5 companies public, when I walked in, I suddenly found that the company had customers that had all vanished. So they had all customers, great customers in the US, but none of those customers existed. So from a situation where I thought I was going to take 4 or 5 companies public, I was faced with this massive challenge of restructuring the entire group. And I had investors sitting on my head. I had ICICI coming and cursing me. I had JP Morgan at my throat. I had ILFS at my throat. Every single entity, News Corp at my throat. I mean, this is not something that I really bargained for. I'd given up a cushy life thinking I would create something big and meaningful. And then suddenly I had this whole situation to deal with. That was really tough. Again, as Gayatri said, suddenly you had nothing to fall back on. The company did not have a reputation at that point because people respect you only when you have money. You had nothing in the bank because all that money was sort of almost blown up. And News Corp had said that whatever they had invested will be completely frozen and we could not invest anything into new businesses. So everything was at standstill. Very complex negotiations. one of the companies, which was in telecom, I sold it off to a US company, and we exited very gracefully. It's a different matter that about 8 months after we sold the company which bought got bankrupt. So that's a different matter. Those were the difficult times. And then I sold another of the group, sold this back, India.com. I don't know, many of you would not have heard of it, but India.com, I negotiated a stake sale back to News Corp. And there was another company called Planet Asia where I negotiated a merger with another company. And we got back to the core company, Microlan, which was in infrastructure services, and restructured that and said, we cannot have multiple businesses. And that taught me an enormous lesson in entrepreneurship. That if you think as a startup, entrepreneurs are buzzing with ideas, and that's what makes them entrepreneurs. They're buzzing with ideas, and they think they can do a lot of things, and lots of new ideas, and everything looks so exciting, and you almost feel there is a feeling of FOMO, that I'm just going to miss out if I don't invest in that. And so you start this company, and you start another company, and a third company. But what this taught me was, I was not the creator and the architect of all these companies, but I had this terrible job of facing creditors, of facing employees to whom no salaries could be paid, very, very difficult times. And people, I would get threatening calls at home, threatening calls at night, all kinds of things. But I think I had the support of the chairman, and we were able to really restructure. And that company today, you pay a big price because this company was valued higher than Infosys at that point. What Infosys did was it stuck to its knitting. It just did plain services, stayed there on that, built their business, built their bank balance. Over a period of time, they had the ability to invest in other things. But Microlan was the young, entrepreneurial, very innovative company, great businesses, but way ahead of its time. So the lessons it taught me was A, focus, B, you could be ahead of the time. So the timing at which you bring in new technology is so critical. So you need to have that staying power. You may be doing something much too early and the market is not ready for you. So these were some very key learnings, and I think I was deeply recognized for the restructuring that I did, and that was very much appreciated by all the investors. And during that process, I used to get a call every other day during those 4 years that I was there. You are working in this company, why don't you join us? And I said, my restructuring job is not complete. I don't want to leave a sinking ship halfway. So I really need to complete that restructuring before I move on. And as soon as I finished the last bit of restructuring, I just got out of the blue, got a headhunter to call and say, there is this fantastic opportunity of being the CFO of a NASDAQ-listed company. And there wasn't a woman CFO ever in a NASDAQ-listed company based out of the US. It was a tough decision, but it meant that I had to shuttle between Detroit and Mumbai. And my base was Bangalore, and family was in Bangalore. But the people were very supportive, and I took the plunge. And thereafter, that was a very, very interesting experience of dealing with global investors and building scale and value. And thereafter, got again headhunted out by ICICI, who had been the investor in Microlan, and said, we are starting a joint venture, and we want you to be part of it. So I was the managing director of Tishman Speyer, which is where it gave me the private equity investing expertise. And during that period, I got very excited by startups. That was about 12 years ago. There were very few startups, but me, group of many others, again, I happen to be the only woman, started investing in a lot of companies. I've got 15 companies in my portfolio. One of them hopefully will be a unicorn, will get shortly listed in NASDAQ. So NASDAQ or the US. So it's been a tough journey, but, and about a couple of years ago, I set up this company called Strategy Garage. Basically, I had seen so many startups and my own personal experiences as an entrepreneur. I felt that there were many, many learnings that I wanted to share with others. There were many things that people do wrong because they don't realize there is a different way to do this. And that is my contribution back. Obviously, we have to employ people, so it cannot be free, but really this is not a money-making venture to me. This is my giving back to society for all that it has done to me and given me the position that I am in today.
So I'm going to ask each one of you, what was, the most difficult personal dilemma you faced while you started on this journey on entrepreneurship, and how did you overcome that?
Time. I think the toughest is time and where one spends time. Today, for instance, is my cousin's wedding is tomorrow or day after. And I'm supposed to be in Chennai. And I'd given my word to Kripa, so I had to stick to it, and I'm being cursed at home, right, so, for missing. So I think it's a constant, I think it is 24 hours, and I think, and I think that has been the dilemma. It cuts in many ways, professionally, personally, children growing up. I think all of us in the room face it. Being sharp and having that clarity of this is important, this is not important, not necessarily algorithmic or logical, but that I would think is the biggest dilemma I face.
Nidhi, what was your biggest personal dilemma?
See, basically, me and my brother, we are the first generation entrepreneurship in our family. And what I mean with the word of entrepreneurship is failure more and success less. So if you're doing something, if you are thinking you are thinking something innovative, something goes wrong, something goes out of track. And I think being a first generation entrepreneurship, we are bound to make mistakes. Right. And since we are bound to make mistakes, we also, we have to admit our mistakes and we have to take the correct path. There was a time in the company when there was a heavy financial crunch, and it was a very heavy time for both of us. The year was 2015, where at some moment, it was a time when we had decided to sell out our company. But in the inner strength, there was something like, no, we cannot sell our company that we had stand it so long, and we need to work out the solution. We both had, we worked out the solution. We met our clients, we met our vendors. We work out the path that what can be done, how best it can be done. And that is how we came out from the situation. With that experience, what I had learned is, if you are doing a business, intent has to be there. Without intent, you cannot do anything. And so it's like, if you have some accountability in your business, you will do it. You will succeed in your life if you have the intent. So that is the part.
Right. So what was your biggest personal dilemma and how did you overcome that?
Little generic but true. See, I feel that, we all, I hear all of you because you want to do something, you want to have some kind of a professional side, you are interested in, developing that part of your personality. So I feel that when I was in the US, I was working for a corporation, then I came back to India, started working, becoming an entrepreneur. Then I had my child. So, this whole journey of being a working woman employee, a working woman entrepreneur, a working mother entrepreneur. And what I feel are the learnings along the way. It's quite easy to be a working woman. It's quite fun because, we are all, we all have the same time in the day, right? So it's just a matter of prioritizing a little bit here, a little bit there. Working for a company is much easier, 100% than working for yourself. People definitely glorify entrepreneurship as if it's something that you become your own boss. But the truth is that if you're an entrepreneur, then the buck stops at you. So in fact, you're solving everybody's problems, not only your own problems. So when I was an employee, I could go home and by and large switch off. I could, of course, there could be some times when there is whatever, deadlines or some projects, but you can by and large go and have weekends, and life is more balanced, I feel. But when you're an entrepreneur, certainly, because the buck stops at you, because the responsibility is with you to take the company ahead, it's your money. If it fails, your personal self-image is attached to that project. You're definitely much more involved in it, even emotionally, psychologically. So yes, I think that being an entrepreneur, you end up giving a lot more of yourself to your profession, at least, psychologically, physically, financially, in every way. And then working mother is another dimension altogether, because then the guilt creeps in. So when I had my son, I really wanted to be, with him, but after 4 days, I was working already. So I decided that I don't want to be a part-time mom and I don't want to be a part-time entrepreneur. I want to be full-time both. So I want to be a full-time mom and I want to be a full-time entrepreneur. So that's when you have to find the inner strength. That's what my experience has been, that, you have to say that, okay, this is what I want. So I'm going to prioritize these two things. These are most important to me. For me, my work, my child, and maybe fitness. So everything else takes a back seat. Whether it's socializing, whether it's shopping, whatever, so many other things one may want to do with the time, then you have to prioritize it. So I think the personal dilemma is making those choices, prioritizing. And I feel what makes entrepreneurs special is that you have that inner drive to do all this. If someone told you, like she said that, I wanted to be somewhere else, but I'm here today. If someone told you to do it, you won't do it. It's only because you want to do it. You want to spend those 12 hours at work. You want to, do whatever you are doing with your time, that you are doing it. And that's what makes entrepreneurs special, that, it's the self-motivation, the initiative to keep going, facing the difficulties and making those hard choices at all times, to give a lot of yourself to that choice. So I think there are many dilemmas, but if you genuinely want to be a successful entrepreneur, like so many ladies on this panel and all of you are, the drive has to come from within you. And if it's your own choice, you will happily enjoy it. If it is not your own choice, then you will give up along the way. There are many reasons, in-laws, children, whatever, X, Y, Z, ABC. But if you want to do it, then you will find the motivation to do it. And you'll enjoy it also. And the guilt will be lessened.
Sunita, how did you balance your personal dilemma, the difficult choices that you always had to make?
Well, I was in a little unique situation because I'm a doctor. So I really struggled with this. Entrepreneurship, I love the word, by the way. I never liked the word business. So my in-laws were very traditional Konkanis, and for them, business was a very, very bad word. So you imagine two doctors who are setting up a company. They're like, why do you have to call it a company? Don't call it a company. So we're like, Amma, Nandan Nilikani also is Konkani, and he set up Infosys. So we had to have these conversations, because when you're a professional family and you're suddenly in this sphere of kind of business, so for me, that was the biggest challenge. At work, nobody knew. I ran a department of pediatric cardiology at a large hospital, and I had this whole life at night and on weekends. And I don't think my patients, some of them are here today, but none of them knew this other side that was going on. So really balancing both those hats. I think when I finally embraced entrepreneurship, when I was able to say, being an entrepreneur doesn't mean I'm a bad doctor. and I'm an entrepreneur, and I want to scale high quality, good medical interventions in this country. And when I was able to embrace my entrepreneurial hat, I think I became more successful at it. So I think for me, my balance really has been that vacations do not exist. So you need to have a new lexicon, which is workation. So, so I embraced vacations.
So we have a lot of emerging entrepreneurs who have taken the first step, into entrepreneurship. So what is your one piece of advice for them?
Enjoy it. There are too many ups, there are too many downs. So you just got to have a sense of humor. And I keep, whenever times are bad, I'll tell my husband, hey, one day we'll write about this in our memoirs. So, as Dr. Mickey this morning talked about positive, he talked about optimism. So I think really staying optimistic. And if you have that one person, you don't need a whole team and a whole board. You need that one person you can bounce it off, who will let you stay positive and optimistic. And then that's it, you keep going.
What is your one piece of it?
Well, I would say that my piece of advice would be don't give up. Believe in yourself. Of course, realign. If something is not working, change your methods. Reorganize yourself. Don't stick to something, no escalating commitment, but don't give up. There are many reasons why you may be tempted to give up. But it's really worth it. It's really worth the effort and the drive. I feel beautiful that I'm doing something which has a larger purpose. I feel beautiful, good that I'm growing every day. I'm meeting so many interesting people. Today I've learned so many interesting things from the ladies on the panel, meeting all of you. You're always growing, and you have a much wider horizon rather than, a small, narrow focus to your life. So it's really worth it, to have a bigger purpose, to give back to the society, to learn, to meet people, to make money. I like that I'm successful. It's a great feeling. So don't give up along the way, despite the difficulties. Enjoy the ride, but don't give up.
Didi, what's your advice?
So I told earlier also, if you are planning to start something of your own, so the first and foremost thing is the intent. And the second thing is the self-confidence and the motivation. It has to be come up inside from you. Like it's not like if I am asking you, please start your own business, or it's the idea, or this is the, this much investment is there, you cannot do anything. Once, if that thing comes from you, like within from you, that yes, I can do it, I can accept the challenge. And yes, the last and the foremost thing is, you have to come out from your comfort life zone. You have to take the risk. You have to be ready to accept any challenge while doing all these things. So my only advice, this all is my advice to the ladies.
Sorry, what is your advice?
So, looking at all my life experiences with various entrepreneurs and the mistakes that we have made, I think stay focused on your core business. Don't get distracted because it's very easy to get distracted with many things. But you have to be persistent because entrepreneurship, you have to look at it like a marathon. It's not a sprint. There may be an odd company which may be doing a sprint, but don't model yourself on being a sprinter, but really look at it as a marathon. It's a 10, 12-year journey, 15-year journey, and that's when really the fruits of your labor come. If you really look at some of the stories of Infosys, there was a time in their life prior to 2000, they didn't have money to pay salaries. They were on the verge of shutdown. And this is not folklore, I've heard this from Nandan himself, that at a point in time, all the founders got together and said, should we just move on? And Mr. Narayan Murthy at that point said, just give me some more time and we'll make this happen. And Y2K happened. You need that one inflection point at which, things start changing. So I think you need persistence, you need self-belief. If you believe what you're doing is right, if you believe that you're solving a customer problem, really you have to be solving some big problem and there should be a huge market. I mean, these are all, standard things that we all hear in business schools. But really, this is common sense. If you're not solving a problem, real life problem, then I think, staying in that business is questionable. So doing that and having a high degree of integrity in what you do. If you take outside funds, remember, you're literally like a custodian of funds which has been given to you in trust, and you owe it to the other party who has believed in you to make sure that there is a good return. And therefore, having that, giving the investor the faith that their money is in safe hands is so critical. And today you're seeing the fall in values. Every day you open the newspapers, you see so many fallen angels, because at the end of the day, your reputation is so critical. And please don't forget that. I think that's very, very important. And don't chase valuations, because valuations will follow. Focus on doing a great job. Focus on driving customer value. Focus on solving a real-life problem. And the valuation will chase you, and the investors and VCs will chase you. And I think that's really my message to all of you.
Mine, levity and sense of humor. This too shall pass. I think that is really something that is what I would say for most things. That's what works for me.
On that wonderful note, I'd like to thank all of you for patiently listening to this panel discussion. I'd like to thank my panelists for sharing their stories and their journey, and I hope it inspires all of you to pursue your passion as well. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
And thank you so much, Kripa. And ladies, for sharing all those very thought-provoking stories, we'd like to present a token of our gratitude to all of you, an Outlook hamper courtesy Indie OSA. Kripa, I'd request you to kindly present that to each one of our special panelists. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for all the powerful women on stage who've shared a wealth of information with us this evening. Let's hear it once again for our power panel this evening. Thank you very much. And Kripa, thank you for facilitating that wonderful discussion. Thank you. So, I was seated backstage thinking that growing a business or rather growing a successful enterprise is really a tough call, right? For us women, it's almost like birthing a child. It requires a lot of perseverance, some serious leadership skills, and of course, on your feet critical thinking. Everyone wants to climb the top of a mountain. But the truth is that real happiness and real growth lies in the journey, in the climb. Ladies and gentlemen, our next woman of worth is here to talk about her climb of scaling up a small startup into a data powerhouse. The venture funds, private equity, and corporates today absolutely cannot do without. Please put your hands together as we welcome on stage Outlook Business Women of Worth superstar, co-founder Traction, Neha Singh. Okay, there she comes. Come on, let's welcome her with a warm round of applause.
Hi all. Firstly, glad to see such a big audience of female entrepreneurs in Bangalore. This is probably the biggest, group that I would have seen in, across all the past years. And also this conference is unique in a sense that the female restroom has the largest line, which is very unlike most of the conferences where it's like nearly empty. So I don't know how many of you know Traction. We co-founded that about 5 years back. It's essentially an easy way to think about us is that just like Bloomberg is for public companies, we are building a platform for private companies, which investors and corporates use. I wanted to spend some time in highlighting some of the things that I have learned on the way and see if that is helpful for people over here. So I don't know if this works. Does this? Okay, cool. So how many of people here want to do a startup and are looking for an idea? Is there? Okay. Or people who are already doing a startup? Most of them? Okay, cool. So the first thing is about, a lot of people that I meet is they want to do a startup and are looking for the idea. And the first thing is about which idea to choose. So my learning has been that you should pick an idea that you really want to solve. You can be opportunistic about it, that that's a big market in US or in big market in China, and you want to build a large domestic market over here. But I think the key thing that I have learned is that it should be a problem that you want to solve for, say, the next 10 years. Because good chances is that in a startup there are a lot of highs, but there are also a lot of lows. So there are a lot of times wherein your conviction is tested, and at that time you have to really love and stay excited about doing that. So that's probably the first thing. And even if your startup is like really successful, which I wish for a lot of you, become, your journey for doing that is going to be long. So for instance, if you look at the average time to IPO of a company is about 10 years. Right? So you'll be probably doing that for a good time of your professional career. So it better be a problem that you like to do. Okay. The next thing after you've chosen your idea and have decided to take the plunge, the thing is about hiring. The first challenge that a lot of us face is about hiring your initial team. So someone actually gave me a very interesting tip, which I incorporated while hiring our initial team, which worked very brilliantly, and I'd love to share. So what I did was that I made a list of 15 to 20 people that I really respected, and I called them up and asked them that, in all their professional life, say they would have worked for, say, 5-6 years, who are the top 3 people that they would really recommend, right? And you'd be surprised that really interesting names come up when you ask this question to people. And what I did was that I made a long list when people gave their top 3 recommendations. Sometimes they did not remember at the top of their head, so I'll call them after a couple of days, give them time to think, and then ask them this question again. In about a few days, my list of candidates, so I had people who had been recommended by 3 or 4 people. Which means that these are really nice people, and when I'm meeting them, I'm actually not judging them for their functional abilities, which is anyways very difficult to do in the first meeting. What I'm looking at is more the fit. Are they looking to join at that position or at that stage of the company? So that makes your mistakes in hiring the initial team much lesser. Yeah, the next thing which we have debated a lot about, within hiring also, within the company, we are now 800 people strong, is what is the quality that you look for, especially in your leadership team, right? So the first which comes to your mind is obviously fit, that the person has to be willing to come to a startup of that stage, because most likely you're going to ask them to take a pay cut. So firstly, they have to be ready to come to startup of that stage for the role, etc. So that's probably the first thing. But the one thing which I found to be most interesting is asking the simple question is, can you trust the decision that this person takes, right? So when you're working in a team, you can have a logical debate if you don't agree with the person's point of view, but it's very important that you are ultimately able to trust their decisions. If you don't end up doing that, then what happens is that you're typically taking decisions for all the departments. You're picking up the top projects for marketing, top projects for ops, etc., which you can do probably initially, but as the company scales, it's very difficult to do that. And then you ultimately become the bottleneck for a lot of decisions. So this is another interesting thing that I have learned. Yeah. The next is getting the product market fit. So most of the startups in the early stage fail because of not getting the product market fit rather than because of lack of funding. For that, it's very important that that I have also learned firsthand is doing the initial sales yourself. In our case, our customers who are venture capital investors, I spent the initial 1 or 2 years so I was in Stanford earlier, and we also started traction there. If for people who know, around Stanford, Sand Hill Road is like the biggest concentration of VC funds, like globally. And so I would have met nearly dozens of people in that area, to a point that I would remember or know each of the streets and each of the parking lots. And I've visited them like multiple times. So it's very important to actually do the initial sales, because only then you understand how the customer is, what do they think, what is their workflow. And that comes in very handy when you are taking the product decisions later on. Because as your company scales, you get lesser and lesser time to do that, because you have many other things to also worry about. The next thing is competition. So a lot of founders actually, like young founders, I've seen them, they worry about competition a lot. They are fretting about it. They are tracking, what is the new thing that they have launched very, very closely. My learning has been that, worry about competition less. So to give you a simple example, one competition has lost a service for 100 rupees. And you think, oh, you should also be competitive, and you're trying to match the same price point of 100 rupees. After a year, everyone realizes that it was never affordable in the first place to be selling at that price point, and both of the companies had a tough time. So typically, most likely you only see the highs of your competition, and while as for your company, you see the day-to-day struggle. So what I've realized is that more often than not, your competition scenario is not as rosy as you imagine it to be, and it's not as bad for you as you imagine it to be. If your competition is someone like an Amazon or a Google or a gorilla like that enters your space, then probably it's another thing. Then my sympathies are with you. But apart from that, for most other people, you can do away with worrying less about what the competition is doing. The last thing is pitching to investors. This is something that a lot of founders also go through. So I've also been like a VC earlier, and I've seen this in both the avatars. Typically, what I've seen is that people give a lot of importance to pitching how well they have executed, right? How well they have executed, how well the team is. But if you look at how a VC looks at their world, for them, typically, for most early stage, growth stage venture capital funds, first is market, second is team, and third is execution, right? So you have to give a lot of importance of selling the market to the investors as well, or selling what your perception is of how the market is going to unfold. Once they are sold on the market opportunity that this is a large space, then it's much easier to convince them about that you have a great execution or that you have a great team. So yeah, this is some of the things that I have learned on the way. In case anyone has any questions, we would be happy to take. But yeah, this kind of summarizes most of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, a louder round of applause. Thank you for candidly sharing what we can do better. Thank you so much. on that note, we've actually reached that time of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, that we have been waiting for. Any guesses? No prizes for guessing this one, actually. Yes, it's time for us to call on the Outlook Business Women of Worth Awards 2019. So, ladies and gentlemen, to give away the awards, I'd first up like to invite on stage Mr. Indraneel Roy and Ms. N. Mahalakshmi to please join me. And as they walk onto the stage to give away our first set of awards, I'd like to invite Ms. Gloria Benny, co-founder, Guardian of Dreams. Okay, so I don't need to say this, but of course, one thing's very clear, that every person that's going to receive the award tonight has worked really hard to be here. So the loudest cheer and the loudest applause. Our first awardee tonight, ladies and gentlemen, was the first woman in her family to join the business and has made Nully too cool from traditional. Please put your hands together for Vice Chairman Nully Group, Lavanya Nully. Come on, keep the claps coming, ladies and gentlemen. Our Women of Worth 2019. Let's hear it for her once again. Many congratulations. Electric vehicles have acquired a life of their own, and Sulaja's startup Kinetic Green Energy and Power Solutions is at the forefront of making it a reality in India. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our next Women of Worth awardee, founder and CEO, Kinetic Green Energy and Power Solutions, Mrs. Sulaja Firodia Motwani. Ladies and gentlemen, the claps should technically not stop for the next couple of minutes. Many congratulations to you. In 6 years, from 2012 to 2018, she has managed to emerge as the most promising solar EPC company, clocking a turnover of 800 crore, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome our next Woman of Worth, co-founder and director, Race Power Experts, Nidhi Gupta. Many congratulations to you. And Gloria, thank you so much for doing the honors. I'm going to request you to please take your seat. And to give away our next set of awards, I'd like to invite on stage co-founder Traction, Neha Singh. Thank you for joining us, Neha. All right, so our next award goes to a woman who has played a very instrumental role in delivering financial services at our doorstep. Let's welcome co-founder Bank Bazaar, Rati Shetty. Okay, I believe she's probably stepped out of the room for a bit. Okay, there she is, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, let's give her a special applause for making it. Let's hear it for her, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Rati, and many congratulations to you. Congratulations. Our next awardee has built one of the best food tech companies in India, and she says Zara is her role model for food delivery. Please put your hands together for founder and CEO, Fresh Menu, Rashmi Daga. Keep the claps coming, ladies and gentlemen. Very few women bankers have really gone the distance that our next awardee has. Her startup, Credit Mantri, helps assess credit worthiness. Let's put our hands together for our next Women of Worth tonight, co-founder, Credit Mantri, Gauri Mukherjee. Ladies and gentlemen, can I hear the applause? Bring the roof down. Many congratulations. To give away our next set of awards, I'd like to invite on stage co-founder India Hikes Sandhya Chandrasekhar to please join us on stage. Our next award tonight goes to the chief dreamer at Teleradiology Solutions, who is a hard tech entrepreneur, ladies and gentlemen, but at heart, she always remains a doctor. Please welcome Chief Dreamer, Dr. Sunita Maheshwari. Sandhya, thank you so much for doing the honors. Thank you very much. To present our next award, I'd like to invite on stage Ravi Kant to please join us. Okay, there he comes. Let's welcome him with a warm round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, sir, for joining us. Okay, and our final award tonight goes to a tech entrepreneur with diverse business experience, with stints at Wipro, Oracle, SAP, someone who's really always pushed boundaries and is always getting out of her comfort zone. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome founder, director of Bali Solutions, Srividya Kannan. Let's hear it for her once again. Come on, the claps shouldn't stop. And Srividya, I'm going to request you to stay with me on stage as I once again invite on stage all the awardees of Women of Worth 2019. Come on, make your way to the stage quickly. It's time to capture this moment in a nice group photograph that we will cherish for life. Requesting all our award winners to please join us on stage. And I think you should come with the award in your hand, right? The WoW trophy. Yes. Please do get your WoW trophies. That's, in fact, the most essential part of this picture. Ladies and gentlemen, can we hear it once again? Come on, make some noise, yeah? Women of Worth 2019! Thank you so much, ladies. You can now officially just sit back and enjoy the rest of the evening because you've made it. Thank you so much. Please take your seat. What an absolutely fantastic evening it's been so far, right? Once again, a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. This is where we all want to be. Coming up next is an exclusive discussion. It is the wow story of two wonderful women who have taken the way of entrepreneurship. May I please call upon to moderate this discussion, Ms. Binjal Shah, Chief Correspondent, Outlook Business Women of Worth. Okay, can my team give me a quick heads up if we are waiting for Binjal? Oh, there she comes, ladies and gentlemen. Come on, put your hands together for Chief Correspondent, Outlook Business Women of Worth, Binjal Shah. Binjal, thank you so much. What a gorgeous lady, right? Look at her.
It's a busy day, as you can imagine.
Totally did. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, she'll be in conversation with Amway business owners, Ms. Vasanta Bhargava and Ms. Shivpriya.
All right. I hope you guys are having an amazing evening. We've had an amazing time putting this together. I hope you've gone to all of the pit stops, clicked plenty of pictures, and you're posting about this online, creating the noise that we ought to have been years ago. So I'm very happy to be hosting you guys tonight. And this will be a quick session, but it's going to be a very, very revelatory one, if I may say so myself. So the woman labor force has been a point of conversation for times immemorial, right? We talk about how that there's a gender gap in terms of how many women join the workforce, how many women end up staying back in the workforce, and how many women, unfortunately, fall off the wagon. But what is a very, very underrated success story is the kind of models that companies like Amway have sort of put together to mobilize the troops and sort of tap into the completely unbound professional of women who are very, very well exposed, very, very well cultured, but have not quite found the correct avenue to join India's formal labor force. So we have two women professionals like that with us who have been part of the Amway business network, who, in fact, this model of working has become so very successful that you now see women professionals who find this to be a more lucrative business to join into. So we have two such women professionals with us who used to be a part of the corporate sector but were putting in the grind every single day until they found this more lucrative format of working. And they're here to tell you their story about how it's been becoming Amway business owners and how that format of working turned their careers and their lives around. So the stage is yours. Please share your wow moment with us, if you may, of why you decided to make the switch to entrepreneurship and how this model of working has worked out fabulously for you so far.
It's not a question of switching entrepreneurship. I was handling some businesses. We had cable TV networks. We had a telecom business. That's one day my husband Anand decided to build the Amway business. I had a shock of my life. I said something is wrong with him because you can imagine I'm an engineer, he's an engineer, he worked for my MNCs, I worked for MNCs, and he suddenly comes back home and he says he wants to build the Amway business. And I said, my God, he's going to start selling detergents door to door? That's what I thought at that point of time. Most of them don't understand the business that Amway has. Amway is a beautiful business. I was clueless at that point of time. I didn't really understand the business at all. The more you understand the business, many businesses look very glamorous on the outside, but when you get in, you hear a lot of challenges. You just heard the previous ones. Trust me, we don't have all those challenges that they were talking about. Okay? It's a glamorous business. The more and more you get into it, the more and more you fall in love with it. I hated it in the beginning, but I can't do anything. I can't think of doing anything else in my life other than this business because the company is fantastic, fantastic products, and
Hi, everybody. First of all, how many of you enjoyed the panel? I'm still not out of it, Thank you for all the women, who were panelists for pouring your hearts out. You really made our evening worth, by adding so much of value. And thanks to Outlook for connecting us to them and creating this forum for all of us. So coming to me, my background, I did my engineering in NIT Trichy. And I started my career with Infosys. I worked there for a few years, and then I moved on to IBM. I worked there for a few years. But within a few short months of starting my IT career, I felt that I didn't belong there. I felt caged in a cubicle because I used to write poetry in college, and I felt there was no poetry at all in my regular IT job. So I would look outside through the window of my cubicle, and I saw the seasons changing, things happening outside, but I felt lost, So I was really looking for a better way to live, a better way of doing things my way. I wanted to run my life on my own terms and conditions. And this was the only thing I was clear about. And I had no idea that a business and on top of it, an Amway business would be a solution for what I was looking for. Because like most of you, I also had a lot of preconceived notions, a lot of misconceptions about the whole direct selling industry and about Amway as a brand as well. So the first year and a half, I really had to explore in depth on what it is all about. And thankfully, I was open-minded to explore, and I really discovered that there is a tremendous possibility of not only building a business of my own, but a possibility to empower a lot of other women from whatever walks of life, different profiles, but women who want to either create their own identity, or women who are looking for an opportunity but they're willing to work, willing to learn. And here I had a tool with which I felt empowered to touch and impact how many other lives I would choose to. So I really, saw that as an exciting possibility from a regular IT job to doing something that would let me live a life of meaning, purpose, and contribution. And that's what this opportunity has offered me.
Lovely. Thank you so very much for joining us and for explaining the rationale behind why you made the career switch. It's such a tricky decision for most people. So thank you for being so open and honest about it. And now, without any further ado, where it's time for the session that we've all been waiting for. Speaking of inspiring women who have contributed to the country in the most wholesome manner, we have Manisha Koirala with us. So I will be handing over the stage to her very, very shortly. Xenia, over to you. Thank you so much for joining us, ladies.
Let's hear it for the lovely ladies on stage. Thank you so much for reaffirming that it's an undeniable way of entrepreneurship and has really become independence for millions of women. So, ladies and gentlemen, like I said earlier, I must reaffirm that, yes, we have reached the grand finale, the most awaited part of this evening. To have this conversation, first up, I'd like to invite on stage Outlook Business Editor, Ms. N. Mahalakshmi, to please join me. Thank you, Mahalakshmi. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's my absolute pleasure and privilege to invite on stage a woman who initially aspired to become a doctor, took up modeling just for fun, and then debuted in Bollywood with Saudagar. She is here with us this evening to take us down a beautiful memory lane and to narrate her magnificent journey. Presenting to you at WoW 2019 Bengaluru, Dil Se with the one and only Manisha Koirala.
Namaskar.
Thank you, Manisha, so much. Is this working? Okay. Thank you so much for taking the time out and being with us today. This has been a very awaited moment, and we were very excited to have you in Bangalore and had our doubts, would you really make a trip to Bangalore for this? Thank you for sparing the day.
You didn't have to struggle hard. I love Bangalore, so any excuse to come here.
Again, kudos to Bangalore, start to beginning. I mean, the response has been overwhelming. That's really touching, and we are fortunate to have you with us today this evening.
Pleasure is all mine.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So, with so many years of film career, now when you look back, can you summarize what would you think are your key accomplishments? How do you really look at your career from the place that you are in today?
Well, it's for me, my career, my time in cinema is the most precious time. I think my prime time, last 30 years, has gone into the cinema. And it's been a joyful roller coaster ride, to say the least. And I feel, I don't know about major achievement because I'm a hungry person, so I will always want more and more. But I feel coming from a non-filmy background and coming to a new city, establishing myself, probably that itself is, for me, is a huge achievement.
not a known area at all of work. But, you know, getting so much of love and affection and getting accepted and getting an opportunity to show my work, I think it's a huge blessing. And I take it, the whole experience, as with a lot of gratitude, with all its flaws, with all its potholes and everything. But it's been a marvelous journey. It's been wonderful experience working in Indian film industry.
I'm not really a movie buff, but I've seen quite a few of your movies. And the characterization that stuck with me the most about you was one of vulnerability. That's what you really demonstrated to me. You're like a, you know, when I think of Manisha Koirala, it's a vulnerable person in, you know, various places, whether it's Bombay, Dil Se, Khamoshi, all of those really movies that I watched really stuck with me, and that's the characterization that I carry of you. My question to you is, the characters that you play, do they really influence you in some way? So you play a character, some 10, 20, 30% of that sticks to you and alters you as a person forever? Does that happen?
You know, this is something hugely debatable. I feel any creative person, how much of work of that creation is influenced by your own personality and how much you get affected by the characters or something that you're creating is something debatable. I also believe every individual is different. And so there are some people who don't get affected at all. There are some artists who play the really mean characters, but in their personal life, they're the most gentle people you will come across. Right. So I really don't know. But what I know is, ever since my illness, I'm very conscious of the fact that I do not take on negative roles. In the sense, I would want to feel happy and positive, because maybe I'm a little vulnerable, maybe I'm a little open. So to protect myself, I guess. And hardcore artists will not agree with my stand, because for art, for an artist, whether it's a negative, you're just telling a story. Right. And you should be able to portray it without any resistance or hesitation. But I'm a little apprehensive.
So now that does affect your choice of roles?
It does. It does.
Take us through, how did you do it in the past? What went into your choice of roles?
See, in the past, also, I've been a person who used to ruthlessly watch movies, like a total movie buff. And for an instant, it could be really, I'm forgetting the name, but there are filmmakers who would make really hard film, but they were so well made that I would end up really admiring it. So now I think for me, I'm not able to watch much harder subjects. I would test myself by watching scary film, but now I will not watch it. So I guess I've become slightly protective towards my environment, what I feed my mind and stuff like that.
Since you're talking about then and now, tell us, can you take us through that, maybe the first month when you were really diagnosed of cancer? What was that period really like? What did you go through? And thereafter, how did it really alter the way you thought about life and what you need to do in future?
It was, I think, 2012 November, and it was shocking. Disbelief. Really, one can't imagine that
you will think of everything else but cancer when you fall sick. And so I really didn't know how to react. I kept on thinking that it was misdiagnosis. And kept on hoping and thinking, so did my mom. And, but when it became clear that it was late stage ovarian cancer, and it's then we started, it almost like, it seemed like a dead end for me because it was a late stage. So we kind of started figuring out who's the good doctor and all that. I think for a few months, not the first month, but for a few months during surgery and during treatment, when doctors were not able to tell me if the treatment is going to work or not, the fear of relapse, the fear of, all that. So that whole time for me was the most crucial time, in the sense I had a dagger over my head, wasn't sure whether I was going to live or die. And then I started actually thinking about life and started asking questions. What is life? And what have I done with my life? And stuff like that. And I felt, to a large extent, I had a great life. But somewhere, I had lost the plot. And I started figuring out, I started really digging deep, started doing reflection, and started understanding. And during that time, I realized what a lot of people used to say, that when people were facing death, they were thinking about, oh, they wished they had done something, and time has gone. And they could not spend time with the loved ones, or they couldn't do this, or they couldn't do that. And so similar phase I was facing for a few months. And it's like, that's when it became really clear to me what is really essential and what I could do without. And so in that, things started becoming more clear. And I realized that life, my life at least, wasn't so complicated to be happy and to feel fulfilled. I didn't need too many things. I just had few basic requirements, and those were my priorities. And then there was a time where I started thinking, if I get a second chance to life, how will I live? What would I do differently? What are the things I will never do? What are the things I'll do more? All that kind of clarity I started getting. And, my life became like I had only few brackets that I need to focus on. And in those few brackets, if I could give 100 out of 100 to each bracket, I'll lead a fulfilled life. And, I started functioning from there, but you know how life is. It's like you do have, you get clarity, but you also leave it little loose, in the sense you leave it for it to evolve, leave it for it to be organic, to flow in a natural process. So, but I do function now with awareness of my priorities. What are the areas that are important to me and how I would like to live. And I really work hard, but what I also learned during my treatment is we are human beings, and yes, we are magical beings. Yes, there's a lot of potential, there's a lot of strength, there's a lot of qualities that we possess, that we can turn things around according to what we wish and desire, but there's a limitation. I mean, that's where the destiny or divine or mysticism and all these things are. So I really strive to get something, but I leave it for destiny or for divine to give it to me. Because I was doing all sorts of correct thing and the right thing to get healed. And I am healed. But there are many other people who do the right things, but They may not.
The outcome may be different.
So we should not blame them. They should not feel that they did anything less. So I say with all my humbleness that we do according to what humanly is possible, but then we leave it to the divine to do whatever is meant to be happening. If my time is limited, I must accept that with total humbleness and knowing that this is all there is.
Tell me, after this whole, when you came out of cancer, I mean, it was I presume was a very, very difficult part of your life, perhaps the most challenging part of your life. What exactly did you alter? The way you look at your personal life, the way you looked at your career, the way you looked at your relationships. Can you tell us 3 or 4 things that really made, where you made decisive, defining difference?
Yeah, a couple of things. The way I started seeing life, I started having gratitude towards this opportunity of life itself. To be born, to experience this wonderful life, to have amazing people, to get an opportunity to act, in everything that life gives. I take it as a gift. I take it as an opportunity to enjoy and to have a great experience. So that changed. Secondly, today I feel my work, my relationship with my work is like it's not stemming from anything else other than I must enjoy what I'm doing. I must, do from the space that I'm really at my peak of happiness and joy when I'm working. So I make a conscious decision of the environment that I put myself in, because filmmaking is a long process.
Right.
And so I want to work with people that I like, that I get a good sense of vibe, and I know that it's going to be a nice and joyful process. So one is that. Secondly, the characters or the roles that I play, I must enjoy. So I see things from a different perspective, not only... So in the process, I've said no to many projects. And some I regret, but then I realized it's kind of a decision I have made. And as far as quality time with my family, I was sharing with you today, and I said, I have a deep bond with my mom. But as mother-daughters, we have this, tu meme, constantly. But I
instantly related to that. The tu meme with the moms.
But the thing is, today I'm the first one to go and apologize. I'm the first one to make peace. I'm the first one to, hug her and it's just that not carrying the baggage of hurt, resentment, learning to forgive oneself and others, living with peace. And I feel also, to me, contributing to society also matters. It's more for myself, for my own piece of this thing, because I like it. I enjoy it. If it's also stemming from the fact that when I needed people's company and guidance, there were few angels who really helped me. So I know the value of that. So I feel if I can just give a little bit of that, it's more gratifying for me. So sense of contribution is also very important now, and I do it more consciously.
That's one thing I wanted to ask you, that after going through all this, what stands out for me about you is that you have taken this cause, spreading public awareness about cancer, and your book is called The Healed, and it's truly healing when when you are in that position to get that reassurance from somebody who has overcome that stages. Must be really, really helpful. So what was the motivation behind that? Because as a celebrity, I don't see too many of them really coming up and talking about their own personal experiences in public, and without thinking about the stature or the position they are in.
Yeah, without really being judgmental, is that what I feel, why the reason I did it was when I was diagnosed, there weren't too many positive stories out there. So I was hungry for that. I really needed that. I needed to see if somebody has made it even after getting late stage cancer diagnosis. And one of my friend's sister had it. And when she told me that, oh, her sister had survived 25 years and she's fine, even after a couple of relapses, she's fine, that really helped. So I had made a promise to myself that if I heal and if I come out, I'm not going to, shy away, and I will put my story out there so that other people can get hope and benefit from it. So I'm actually one of the purpose of my book is that. One of the main reason is that. Also, it's a kind of catharsis. It's a kind of, I also realize that world is really filled with good people too. I mean, we keep on criticizing, we keep on seeing the negative aspect, but during my cancer time, there were so many good wishes, there's so many blessings, there's so many things was outpouring from people that I've never met or known. So I realized that I felt comfortable to share my story. So I guess because of all that.
But that apart, you have also been pretty active with social causes related to women, on women's rights, human trafficking, and so on and so forth. So what was the motivation behind that?
Well, I think being a conscious human being, being a sensitive human being, and being in a position as a celebrity where probably if I say something, it'll be heard, and it could impact in a positive way with the hope and faith and belief that probably I could help in a minuscule way, but I could probably be part of something. So anything related to women, I speak up. Anything related to where I feel is injustice or, not this thing, I speak. Not only that, actually I've gotten into river cleaning also, cleaning, because I feel we are part of this environment and we should try and keep the environment clean. So I feel whatever takes my fancy in terms of any issue, I get up and do.
Do you think it is a responsibility that celebrities must take, given that they have so much influence over people, that a lot of them actually take it lightly? Would you agree to that?
Yeah, I feel being a celebrity, my personal take is that every individual in the society should contribute in their own capacity anyways. And especially being a celebrity, because when you speak something, people listen to you. I feel why not to use that position for betterment, for some kind of a thought, for something better, for change. So I feel we can do a lot more than we've been doing. I agree with you.
Sure. So some quick questions. Your advice to young actors, whether it be the choices of roles that they should make, that they should make, financial planning, emotional stamina to go through the ups and downs that the industry poses. What's your advice?
Well, first of all, I would say you need to have a fire in your belly, because if you really are passionate and you're really hungry and you really want to strive, then I think first requirement for any kind of success is the strong desire, that's really, I want to achieve that, and determination and strong will and grit, So once you make up your mind, once you are, automatically what happens is you're willing to put in long hours of hard work without complaining. So, and you actually, when you spend 10 hours, it'll go like 10 minutes because you're passionate about doing what you're doing. And find your passion. Find the thing that you're really, really kicked about. So then pursue that dream. Pursuing somebody else's dream is not something that I would really advise on. You find your passion. And put in the hard work. And hard work will come automatically when you love what you do. And of course, I mean, any field, but because you're constantly a public figure, you're in a emotionally high-pitched environment, you're a creative artist, you know, there's lots of highs and lows and all that. You know, I'm the last one to advise anybody don't, because I myself have gone like a roller coaster.
But you have the benefit of experience nevertheless, and fairly good career.
Absolutely. So I can't, I think at the bottom of it all is just enjoy what you are doing. Just love what you're doing. And don't get fazed by, potholes. Don't get fazed by setbacks. And be resilient. Be passionate, be resilient, and, you know, I think everybody should be able to achieve.
Your favorite movie? Your own?
My favorite movie, Bombay.
Your all-time favorite movie?
Yeah, yeah. It's my all-time favorite.
Okay. And what are the films and projects that you're doing now? And is there a dream role that you have not done that you're dreaming about?
You know, for an actor, it's forever next movie, next movie, next movie. So we are hungry a lot. I guess my next projects are, there are few scripts which I have liked. So hopefully this year I'll be doing 1 or 2 good films. But I'm also, you know, I'm also going for Everest base camp trek. To me, that is also to me, that's also a project. So, and I'm training really hard for that. I'm, you know, to match up with other people in the group. And I'm really excited about it.
Tell us about your training schedule, training routine these days.
Okay, one of the things which I'll tell you is I live on the 14th floor in Mumbai, and I do 5 times up and down. So with 4 kg at the back. So, and which I have to, in fact, hopefully get to 10 times. I don't know. But
do we have a trekking women of worth, Sandhya? So is 14 floors up and down 5 times good enough for Everest Base Camp, more or less?
Oh, thank God.
She is the founder of India Hikes, and she was our Woman of Worth year before last.
Oh, thank God. Thank you. I'm going to be talking to you about it. Learn some tips. Yeah, so I've taken on as a challenge to just basically, I'm always pushing my boundaries and trying to excel and trying to do work a little harder and not be complacent. So I'm constantly doing something or the other. And to me, each project, each thing that I'm taking on is equally important, be it film or trekking or anything. So I give myself 100% to that. And I'm enjoying life. I'm, you know, just basically quality time with my family and my friends. This trek that I'm doing is with my school friends, my girlfriends. And so it's going to be really marvelous, you know, bonding with my girlfriends, my school friends. And so I guess human love and bonding with family and working and being in the nature and then writing a book. Right. I'm pretty content.
Sure. Is there a long-term dream that is yet to be realized?
I don't really have long-term dreams. And I have 1 or 2 years, I think, and after that, let it be organic, let it, you know, flow naturally.
Sure, inshallah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this beautiful conversation.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Shall I leave this here?
Ladies, let's hear it once again for Manisha Korala. Manisha, thank you so much from the Outlook Business family. Thank you very, very much for joining us here this evening and making it bigger and better. Ladies, I'm going to request you to take your seat for one more minute. You know, the greatest prayer is a thank you. And you'll agree with me when I say that we have a long list of thank yous to say to each and every person who has made Outlook Business Women of Word 2019 bigger and better than it ever was. So to our sponsors, our community partners, every speaker, every woman that received the award tonight, and every woman that's in the audience, and every person from the Outlook Business Group. Ladies and gentlemen, can we have a loud cheer and a loud round of applause for each and every person that made this event possible? I'm Xenia Fernandez, and what can I say other than it's been a pleasure, honor, and an absolute privilege to host this evening for you. And of course, on behalf of the Outlook Business Group, without asking them, I promise that next year we'll be bigger and better. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us here tonight. Come on here, can you make some noise? Talia, Sitia. You can stand, you can dance, you can climb on the chairs. The room is all yours, ladies and gentlemen. I want to quickly also tell you that the Shunyam Quotient by Dr. Mickey Mehta, which apparently got sold out quite early in the day, is actually back on the stand. So if you want to grab one, please feel free. Also requesting all our awardees tonight to please join us at the Twitter panel, which is to your right in the pre-function area. We'd like for you to join us there. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a fantastic night. Thank you.